Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. It's Friday night and the feeling is right. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and tonight we have a lot to talk about, almost too much to talk about. I want to talk all about that brand new little movie. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you haven't, maybe you hate it without even seeing it. But nevertheless, I want to talk about Christopher Nolan's brand new epic, The Odyssey. I have a lot I want to say about this movie, and if you have thoughts and feelings about it, please get those in down below right now. I would love to hear from you. Also, relating to movie news, I want to talk about the Batman 2 being delayed once again. This is the 14th time they've delayed this movie over the last 6 years, and at some point, very soon, I will put on this Batman mask and I will scream and rant about this newest announcement of the movie being delayed, but we will also talk about some of the test footage that they released. So there's that. Also, I want to talk about sort of a cool trailer that just dropped the other day, and it's a small movie I'm looking forward to, but nevertheless, I love me some Rocky movies. I love me some Stallone. Hey, y'all know, you want to make a new Rocky movie or something? Hey, let's do it. I want to talk about I Play Rocky, this upcoming movie that comes out this Thanksgiving, just in time for the 50th anniversary of Rocky. So I want to talk about that trailer because I think it looks pretty good, and I think the casting choice for the upcoming Rocky, I think they got a really good, like, on-the-nose actor to play. Like, he looks the part, he sounds the part. So the movie looks like a good time to me. And also, as always, I will answer everything and anything that you guys comment down below. So if you guys have a magical and mystical question, get that in right now, because we will get to every single one of those in just a few minutes. But first, once again, thank you guys for joining me. It's Friday night, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be than right here with you beautiful people. And there's been a lot going on. Just a few quick updates about me and my life before we dive into the movie news and reviews. Right now, there's a bacterial infection going around if you eat produce or lettuce, and specifically if you go to Taco Bell. And I guess that's no surprise. I really feel like the next epidemic or pandemic will be caused by Taco Bell. And I'm not just talking about the occasional diarrhea. No. I'm talking about something major that's going to turn us all into zombies. But there's a little disease going around, a sort of a parasite, if you will, called cyclosporiasis, I think, something like that. Cyclosporia. And basically, this is a parasite that lives in produce. And it's going around in the Midwest. I live right in the heart of this, right in Indiana. And basically, you just have to eat processed foods right now, or else you're going to have diarrhea for a month and a half. So I've been going through all my frozen pizzas, chicken nuggets. You know, all the shit that's bad for you is the stuff that's going to keep you alive longer. Isn't that weird? You can't eat anything fresh or healthy. That has parasites on it, and toxins and poisons and things that kill rats. So that's going on right now. Also, where I live in the Midwest in Indiana, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's a lot of wildfires happening up north in Canada. And all that smoke and smog is coming right down to where I live. So when you look outside for the last 2 days, it looks like we live in the year 2090. Global warming has finally taken over. The atmosphere is crashing. It's all gray and smoky out. They say it's a health hazard to actually go outside right now. It's unsafe to go outside and breathe the air right now. So I can't eat anything. I can't go outside. You know, I'm going to get diarrhea, or I'm going to die from inhaling smoke outside. And it's just a weird time to be alive. What a great summer. But with all of that said, welcome back to a brand new live show. And so yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just a really unfortunate series of events. That's all I'm saying. But tonight I have a delicious alcoholic beverage right here to soothe my my anxiety, and it just tastes delicious. Okay. You guys want to talk about the Odyssey? All right, let's do it. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Whew. All right, got a lot to say about this, so bear with me, and then we will dive into the questions and the other topics. So I saw Christopher Nolan's brand new epic, The Odyssey, based on Homer's original poem from like 2,700 years ago. Now, when it comes to this film, I will always go to the theater day one to see the newest Nolan movie. Good or bad, I will be there. Now, when it comes to most of Nolan's filmography, I like the majority of his films. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. Say what you will about the Dark Knight Rises. I know it's a bit clunky, but I still enjoy it, and the score's top notch. When it comes to Tenet, I don't like the movie. Saw it once, couldn't get through it a second time. Can't hear anything in the movie, was not a big fan. But The Prestige, highly underrated. Definitely go watch that movie at some point. So when it comes to The Odyssey, there was a lot of controversy going into this movie, and we're going to talk all about that. But first, I want to talk about some of the cool stuff, some of the epicness that I enjoyed when watching this film. I was able to attend an early screening of this at an actual IMAX theater, not a LIMAX, an actual IMAX 70mm gigantic screen down in Indianapolis this last Monday. I went there, I made a first reaction video. If you haven't watched that video, go check it out on the Flickpick channel. It's like 12 minutes long. There's a really cool visual scenery of the city behind me and my buddy Austin as we talk all about the movie at 12 o'clock at night. And we both overall enjoyed it. Now, keep in mind, this is a 3-hour long film, okay? And there's a lot that takes place in this movie. But first, I think we should talk a little bit more about some of the technical aspects. When it comes to Nolan, the thing that even if you like the guy or hate the guy, you have to respect that he still wants to make films. He wants to shoot on film with 70mm IMAX, and there's not a lot of directors doing that today. And I will say this, when it comes to a story as epic as The Odyssey, there's not many directors working in Hollywood that I would trust to take on such an epic journey and give it the gravitas and the respect that maybe it deserves, because I want something that feels filmic. I want something that feels like an epic from the 1950s or the 60s brought to the big screen. And I feel like Nolan is the only guy still in Hollywood willing to make movies shot on film. And you got to respect that. So from a technical standpoint, The Odyssey, when you're watching it on IMAX, it's immersive. It's awesome. It's definitely worth a movie. It's definitely worth your time to go watch it at least once in the theater. It's a true event. Okay, and now it's not to say it's not perfect, okay? There's some problems I have with The Odyssey. And essentially, when it comes to epics, I will say Troy and Gladiator are a few of my favorite epics of all time, and specifically Troy, it's sort of like the prequel to The Odyssey. It's the backstory leading up into Odysseus's journey home after they sack Troy and burn it to the ground. But I love me some Troy. I think that is such a phenomenal movie and kind of underrated in my opinion. Plus Brad Pitt, you sack of wine. Great movie. But let's keep going. Let's talk about the cast of The Odyssey. You got Matt Damon playing good old Odysseus. He basically carries the movie, and this is primarily his story and how he gets home. And watching The Odyssey, and specifically directed by Christopher Nolan, I feel like, after watching this movie, I feel like The Odyssey sort of inspired Nolan when he was writing Inception. Because when you break down what Inception is to the bare bones basic concept, it's about one man's journey to get home, and he's stuck in limbo along the way. There's some parallels to be made between Inception and Odyssey. You know, sort of loose, but I think that narrative and that inspiration is there. But ultimately, I think this is the best way to describe The Odyssey. This feels like Nolan's wet dream come to fruition. You know, it's completely shot on IMAX. It's as epic as you can get. Now, one complaint some people might have is it's a little too grounded. And to me, that's not a shocker coming from Nolan. I didn't expect to see Zeus flying around and, you know, the most obscene things happening from the actual lore of the poem, you know, gods and goddesses. It's treated with that sort of Nolan groundedness, if you will. But we'll talk more about that in just a few seconds. Anne Hathaway, who plays Odysseus' wife in this film, she assumes that her long lost husband is coming back, or most people assume he's dead. So in her home, in their castle, there's like hundreds of male suitors just waiting to take her as a bride so they can become the next king. And it's sort of a weird concept to comprehend, especially in modern day times. But the best way I can describe this is it's the equivalent of everyone who's on your Tinder app being in your living room until you swipe right on them. Like, just imagine 200 people from Tinder hanging out in your house, eating your food, drinking your Gatorades or whatever until you swipe right and pick one of them. This goes on for years. Sort of a weird tradition, I suppose. But anyway, you can tell this woman is just anxiety driven. She doesn't want to let go of her husband's legacy and give up and pick some random dude hanging out in her living room. No. She's holding out as long as she possibly can. And I thought Anne Hathaway did a pretty good job in this film. You know, she felt tormented, if you will, and I bought into that quite a bit. So yeah, I thought that was one aspect I was not expecting from this movie. You can just feel the agony that she's going through. Now let's talk about Robert Pattinson. You know, it's kind of a weird thing with Robert Pattinson. You go from hating the guy in Twilight movies, or at least I know I did, and then he becomes Batman and you love him, and now he's playing a dude that you just want to punch in the face as hard as you can. He essentially, I think, plays like the main antagonist in this film. He's one of the would-be suitors for Anne Hathaway, and he's just a scummy, coward, shitbag type character who's a liar and a cheater and just will con his way into Anne Hathaway's heart. And he's definitely unlikable in the film, but in the best way possible. I think he did a really good job in his performance, so I thought he was one of the standout characters. And then you have Tom Holland, who plays, what is it, Telemachus? I'm not good with these ancient names. Anyway, he plays Odysseus' son, and he wants his dad to come home, even though he doesn't know his father because Odysseus left when he was just a baby. But Tom Holland's character in this film is, the best way I can describe him is he comes across as completely worthless. Like, he's not good at anything. He goes out searching for his father. He doesn't come up with any answers. He's just kind of like a waste of space who's there. Like, you know, that's the best way to describe him. He's just sort of a useless character in this film. So there's that. I like me some Tom Holland, but yeah, his character, and it just felt like useless, like pointless. Every time he was on screen, I'm like, well, he's not going to accomplish anything. Okay, well, all right. And then by the end of the movie, I'm like, why did they do that for you? That didn't make any sense. But speaking of casting, let's talk about those controversial casting choices. That's what we all came here for. That's what the internet loves. Now, when it comes to these casting choices, I've had some thoughts and feelings along the way, and my motto has always been, cast the best actor for the role. If it's distracting, then clearly that's not the best casting choice for said role. Now, in this film, you had Elliot Page and you had Lupita Nyong'o, who played Helena Troy. And I will say, when it comes to those casting choices, in totality, they take up 4 minutes of runtime in a 3-hour movie. And ultimately, they are essentially glorified cameos at best. I think as far as the lines go that they deliver, it feels like there's like 6 lines combined that both actors deliver. So it didn't really take away for me in the movie. I think a lot of people got a little too up in arms about it. And ultimately, if they had bigger roles in the movie and played bigger parts, I could see how it probably would have not been the best casting choice. But for what you get in the film, it really is, you blink your eyes or take one bathroom break and you'll potentially miss it. And for the roles that they do play, it kind of does make sense. And I will say this, as far as Elliot Page goes, who's been working out, she's got 8-inch biceps at this point. Her character in this film, she plays a small, scrawny soldier fighting for the Trojan War. And the way that this character could be best described is it is a weak soldier with a big heart. And if you go back in ancient times, some of these younger soldiers sort of did look like younger, smaller boys that were slightly malnourished, if you will. So when you watch the movie and when you get what the movie gives you, I don't think you'll be that upset about the casting choice. So there's that. I guess it didn't take much away from the movie. It's not like she's playing Achilles. That's all I'm saying. It's not like she's taking on 47 soldiers with a sword. That's not happening. It's very quick, okay? All right. So let's talk about some cool stuff I really enjoyed when it comes to the Odyssey, some of the epicness. When this movie first starts out, I will say the first 25, 30 minutes are a little bit clunky. And that's typical with most Nolan movies because he loves telling a non-linear story. He loves flashbacks. He loves going back and forth. It's just the way the dude loves to tell his movies. So when this movie starts out, it is sort of clunky and all over the place and a bit underwhelming in the first 20 minutes. And I was hoping this movie got on track and really started to get me immersed into it. And I was like, please get there. And eventually, as soon as they go on this journey home, leaving from the beaches of Troy, that's when this movie starts going. And that's when I started to really enjoy myself. And that IMAX experience just sucked me in the best way possible. And that's when I started eating all my popcorn. So as soon as this movie gets to the first big action set piece where you get an encounter with the Cyclops in a cave who likes to sleep in a cave and hang out with sheep all night. That's when this movie picks up. And that's when the movie sold me on being this epic. Because the way that they portray this gigantic Cyclops character, he's not just some mindless troglodyte monster. No. He kind of comes across just as like a simpleton who happens to be this giant Cyclops creature. He's sort of like, it's almost like if Forrest Gump just was a giant who lived on an island who ate sheep. He's not looking to hurt anyone. He's just sort of like a lonely recluse. But the fact that this Cyclops wasn't just some slop CGI shot in front of a green screen, the fact that they actually built a 60-foot animatronic and shot it in an actual cave across the world, that is something so rare today. And the fact that this movie just has a scene like that, you gotta appreciate things like that, or at least I know I do. But that entire sequence was a lot of fun. It's sort of dark and gloomy and thrilling. And that's another point I want to make about the Odyssey, is the way that this movie's lit. It's not overlit. There's not a whole bunch of artificial hair lighting on people where it looks like they're just standing in front of a green screen like in Spider-Man No Way Home. No. They lit this movie like it would be lit with fire or candles inside of ancient homes or castles or caves. It just looks naturally lit, which gives it this authentic look that just makes it feel real and immersive. And I appreciate little things like that. I really do. So that entire sequence, when they're in this cave, was essentially lit by like a fire. And I thought that it looked beautiful. It's dark, but it looked perfect. So I enjoyed that sequence quite a bit. That was like the big standout sequence for me in the movie. So it definitely had the atmosphere and the lighting. But it wasn't all about just the big spectacle set pieces. There's also some like very subtle, terrifying, horrifying sequences with a witch named Circe. And this entire sequence that involves pigs, it's kind of scary and it gets you on the edge of your seat and you're like, ooh, what's going to go on with this? It almost gave me sort of like a Robert Eggers vibe. Like if you've watched movies like The Witch, for example, it had sort of like a little bit of that vibe in it that Nolan was picking up on. And, if Nolan does another movie, I really think Nolan should do like a horror movie. I really think he should do a smaller budgeted horror film. I feel like he has that in him because he's done everything else. Do that next. I would like to see something like that from Nolan. But anyway, that entire sequence with the witch was another standout sequence in the film for me. I quite enjoyed it. Definitely a good time. I probably won't be eating bacon anytime soon. That's an absolute lie. I'm gonna make my wife make me omelets and bacon tomorrow, and I drink an iced coffee. That's what I do on my Saturdays. All right. So a few other cool things I enjoyed about the movie The Odyssey was this movie has multiple flashbacks to the events leading up to them going home, such as sacking Troy. Now, if you've seen movies like Troy, the final climax of that movie is the Trojans sacking Troy. And or the Trojans live at Troy. I'm sorry. I'm not a historian. I'm a guy who makes YouTube videos, okay? But anyway, I love those flashback sequences of them sacking Troy and getting through the gates and how they opened up the gates. Because the entire sequence of them staying inside of the Trojan horse, which they give to the city of Troy as a gift as they go hide their ships, that entire sequence I thought was really compelling because keep in mind there's a group of 20 plus men hiding in this wooden horse on the beaches of Troy, just hoping that they take them inside of the gates. And they're standing there, and in their own words, they're going to be here in their own piss and shit until this is over. And imagine that. Imagine being stuck with 20 other dudes inside of this like wooden horse for days on end. And no thank you. I'm good. No thank you. But they do it. And that entire sequence I thought was phenomenal. I actually wanted more of that. I wanted to see more of them sacking Troy because I thought it was some of the most intense, compelling stuff in the film. And it really does showcase like the greed and despair of humanity and men and the shortcomings of what we do for power and the lengths we'll go to. You know, we're basically big pieces of shit, you know, but anyway, I thought that was really cool. One missed opportunity though, I really feel like they missed on in the film was this movie does not showcase Achilles. And I thought that was such a missed opportunity. Maybe they could have had like an awesome cameo sequence from maybe someone that Nolan's worked with in the past. Just putting it out there. Maybe like a Tom Hardy, Christian Bale, or somebody like that. Maybe they could have had a cameo as Achilles at some point. And you could have had like a 2-minute sequence with Achilles just kicking ass. But you didn't get that. But I really thought that was like one missed opportunity. I would have loved to have seen. You sack of wine. All right. Now, as far as some of the fighting sequences in the Odyssey and the giant climax towards the end of the film, and I won't spoil anything. There's no spoilers, even though it's based on a poem that came out 2,700 years ago. There is a big final showdown scene in the film, and I thought overall it was really good. It was fun to watch, but Nolan's fight choreography, it's never been his strong suit, and Nolan tries to make up the lack of like fight choreography in his films with like loud sound effects, where he kind of focuses more on like the impact of things rather than the movements. It's like he puts the camera really close. He doesn't like to do too much like rehearsals or too much choreographing with his fight sequences. And I get it. I don't need them to look like a Jackie Chan fight sequence or anything like that, but I just feel like they could be they could be better shot is all I'm saying. Like back the camera out a little bit, you know, don't zoom in on everything, Nolan. And really that was like one of my big complaints, but hey, we've been talking about that since the Batman movies, when Batman used to fight with his elbows. I don't know. All right. So a few other things in the film that I didn't necessarily love that kind of just exist. There are a multitude of side quests that the characters go on their 7-year journey home. Or is it 7 years or 10 years? It's a long time. And there's a few sequences where they kind of go somewhere, something happens, then they leave. It's sort of just, it almost felt like filler. And I understand that these things are in the poem, but these aren't really big standout sequences. And one of them I actually took a bathroom break on. It was like halfway through the movie because I was about to, dude, listen, this is a 3-hour movie, okay? And I love drinking my large Coke Zeros and eating my salty popcorn during a movie, okay? That's not something I'm ever going to give up. So a bathroom break is something I have to do. It's that, or I start buying adult-sized diapers, and I'm not to that point yet. So, but anyway, there's a multitude of like small little side quests that they go on that it's okay, but it just kind of feels like they go there, nothing happens, then they leave. Okay, now a few other things in this film that I didn't necessarily love was every character in this film has an American accent. And listen, I have an American accent, but when I watch an ancient epic film, I don't want American accents because that kind of ruins the immersion factor to me. I don't care if they have British accents, English accents, whatever accents. Just give them accents. For some odd reason, a slight accent just sells me on this being an epic Odyssey. And I will say after about 30 to 45 minutes, you do become a bit acclimated with the American accents. And that's a great question. If you're watching and you live in another country, is it kind of weird watching an ancient epic with American accents to you? Because for me, it is as an American. I don't know. I don't like it. And I get why Nolan did this. And I get why he did a multitude of things in this film. And it was to give the movie as much a mass appeal as it could possibly have. Because if everyone had an English accent in this movie, well, it's like kids today probably don't want to watch that in a movie. That's an old people movie. I don't want to watch that. I guess American accents are just easier to understand, and it's for mass appeal. That's my best guess. And also that's why Travis Scott's in the movie for 7.5 seconds and also does does a song for the movie during the credits, which I didn't listen to. I got up immediately once the credits started rolling because I had to pee again. I could literally it was starting to gurgle up, and I was like, I got to get out of here. It hurt, and I sprinted to the bathroom. Anyway, so yeah, and some of the casting choices, I think it was just to, it's to appease the masses, to a certain degree. You got to make the TikTok kids happy, or else they're not going to share it in clip form to get free marketing. I don't know. But as far as like the King Agamemnon? There it is. He's played by Benny Safdie, and when you see Agamemnon walking around during the movie, he's kind of walking around like Darth Vader. He even looks like Darth Vader with this like big plasticky suit of armor on, and it looks kind of cool. And keep in mind, this is Nolan's take on the Odyssey. He has this sort of neo-noir vibe to his filmmaking. That's the way he makes things look, okay? He likes to make big budgeted movies that look slightly underproduced. That's Nolan's style, or at least that's the best way to describe it. But anyway, weird casting choice with Benny Safdie. I don't think that was the right casting choice because you wanted someone more imposing and more intimidating. And the one scene you see with him without the suit of armor on, you're just like, oh, that's Benny Safdie. Okay, what are we doing here? I don't know. But anyway, the best way to describe him in this movie is Agamemnon is essentially a prop. Like, he's not a character, he's a prop. All right. So here are my final flicking thoughts on the Odyssey. I loved the practical effects. I thought this movie was extremely immersive. If you're going to see a movie in 70mm IMAX, I definitely would recommend seeing this film. It's easily going to be in the top couple movies for me this year, unless we get 10 other movies that blow this one out of the water, but I don't think they will. And I will say, when it comes to like big epic spectacle movies, I think this will be on like the top 10 list for a long time. And I definitely think it's worth watching. I quite enjoyed myself with this film. Now, with all that said, I'm not an internet shill. The studio didn't pay me anything to give this movie a positive review, even though it has a positive audience rating and critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And I wish they would have paid me. Listen, you can buy me for the right price. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just telling you they didn't. And I think a majority of people who are crapping on this movie, or at least they were crapping on this movie before it came out, well, if you judge something without seeing it, I think there's a slight level of ignorance to be said with that. You know, if you want to shit on the movie after you watch it and say it's terrible, by all means, at least you watched the movie and you don't have a biased opinion. At least you saw it. But I will say this movie, you don't get a lot of movies like this. You just don't. And outside of a few questionable casting choices that have 4 minutes of runtime in the movie, I was into this. I thought it was a good time. I thought it was epic. And I think this is like, if you were going to retell the story of the Odyssey, I think Nolan was the right choice for this. He gave it the respect it needed. He gave it the technical attention to detail that a movie like this needed to give it that spectacle. And I was blown away by it at times. Now, I do think it'll go down as a classic. But for me, you know, I still much prefer movies like Troy or Gladiator when it comes to my epics. And I will say, I think as far as like rewatchability, it's going to take me a while to go back and revisit this movie. Okay. I need this to simmer for a little bit. But when it comes to movies like Troy, I could go back and revisit that movie once a year. I just think it's a good time, no matter what or when or where. So I enjoyed sort of the stranger, sort of darker tone that Nolan gave this. I enjoyed the journey. I thought the performances were pretty good. And I don't know. I had a good time with the Odyssey. So anyway, hang on. Universal's calling me. What's that? The check's in the mail? It better be in the mailbox by the time I'm done with this live show. Okay, thanks. Bye. All right. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Odyssey. I would give the movie, I'd give like the Odyssey, I'd give it like an A-, but on a technical level, I'd give it an A+. You just don't get movies like this. So those are my thoughts. Share yours down below. Did you see the Odyssey? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or have you not seen the movie yet? Let me know. All right. I feel like I was talking for a really long time about the Odyssey, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. We're going to talk about the Pigeon Lady. Don't worry about that. Where does the Odyssey rank in your Nolan filmography? For me, it's like in no particular order. I go like the Batman trilogy. I go the Prestige. I go like Inception, then Odyssey, maybe. Somewhere right in the middle of the Nolan filmography, I would say. It's just a myth. Troy is probably more enjoyable, but the Odyssey is the better film. Yeah, I get from a technical artsy-fartsy standpoint, the Odyssey is like a better film, and Troy is a little bit Hollywoodized at times, but that's kind of what I like about it a little bit, you know. Odysseus! Where's your drink? I got a drink right here. Let me take a sip of this. Agamemnon is a very minor character in the original story. Yeah, I understand that. He's essentially a background prop character. He's a much bigger part in the story of Troy than he was in this. I was just giving you an example, though. Kind of reminds me of Darth Vader. I like the song he did. Travis Scott, I heard like 3 seconds of it. The accents don't seem like that big of a deal to me in movies. Hey, fair enough. After like 30 minutes of the movie, I kind of forgot about them. Concessions for me are like $30. It's so effing expensive. Yeah, you gotta get... I buy popcorn, and if it's a long movie, I buy the drinks, but I will always sneak candy in. You never buy movie theater candy. Never. I agree. Amazing scene, but the fight choreography could have made the scene legendary. I agree with you. That's exactly... Yeah, some of the choreography, man, during that final showdown, I just was like, Nolan, just hire somebody to do this for you. Okay, there's a lot you can do with this. It can look so much better and stand out so much more. It almost feels like fight choreography is almost obligatory to Nolan. Like, he doesn't want to... He's like, okay, we got to do that fight scene. Who cares? Let me tell you something. The action scenes in this movie are so organically amazing, especially with the way he makes something so massive seem so grounded it works. No, Nolan has a great approach to this and making it feel grounded. Like you see a giant Cyclops character, you see these gods and goddesses, but ultimately you sort of like forget that you're watching this myth, this mythological story, and it just feels like reality to you. Also, one thing I did want to mention is, you know, when it goes back to, I saw someone mention here, when it goes back to some of those casting choices in the Odyssey, keep in mind, when you look at the backstory of where some of these characters originate from, well, Helena Troy, actually, I believe Zeus turned himself into a bird, forced himself on her mother laid an egg, and then Helena Troy was born. So I'm just saying that's how she was born. So it's like, like anything's doable in these stories. And that's how I was born, from an egg. Did you guys know that? All right. Rum and cola? Yeah, I do have a Blanton's bourbon in here that my mom got me for my birthday, and a Coca-Cola. It's quite delicious. The ending kind of dragged for me. Yeah, I would say my least favorite part of the Odyssey might have been, I wouldn't say the entire ending. It's when he's sort of in this like purgatory state for an extended amount of time. Like, it's not the very ending, but it's like the beginning of the third act of the movie where I'm like, okay, I can feel the runtime a little bit. All right. Let's, real quick, before we talk about the remaining movie news here, let's quickly talk about this right here. The Pigeon Lady. Oscar-winning actress Brenda Fricker, beloved for her role as Pigeon Lady in Home Alone 2, dies at 81. Well, I'm glad she lived a long life, okay? And I have nothing against the actress who played the Pigeon Lady. She looks like a lovely lady. But when it comes to her character, the Pigeon Lady, she's utterly disgusting. And I'm glad she's dead. I'm kidding. That's unfortunate. Rest in peace, Pigeon Lady. I will not do a rant about the Pigeon Lady tonight in honor of her memory. I will at least wait a few weeks until we do another Pigeon Lady rant. And keep in mind, it's not personal. It's about the character of the Pigeon Lady. Keep in mind. This lady just let birds shit on her, okay? I'm just putting it out there. Have some self-respect. But anyway, rest in peace, Pigeon Lady. And next time I watch Home Alone, I will remember you for your iconic role as the Pigeon Lady. And a true testament to cinema, if you will. And it's unfortunate Kevin just never let her in that hotel room. You're covered in bird shit. It's Christmas Day. I'm in a penthouse with my beautiful family. Thousands of Christmas presents. But here you go. Here's a couple Christmas ornaments to hang on your non-existent Christmas tree. So when you're out here in the cold, freezing your ass off, covered in bird shit, you can think about me with my rich, wealthy family when we go back to Chicago in our $3.5 million house. Bye-bye. By the way, thanks for saving my life. See ya. It's like, Kevin, give her your dad's credit card, my good man. Anyway, rest in peace, Pigeon Lady. You will always be remembered. All right, let's keep going here. Why isn't she the Central Park lady? Because she had pigeon shit on her. Okay, that's why. All right, guys, let's dive into a couple other movie topics I want to talk about. Then we will dive into your questions. So if you guys have questions, keep getting those in right now. I want to hear from you guys. But we got to talk about a few things first. And give me 2 seconds here. Let me put this on here. All right. Okay. Let's put the mask on. Are you guys ready to talk about this? You would never deny the movie for an ordinary citizen! So it's been reported once again that The Batman Part 2 has been delayed for the 87th time, and I just don't know if I can take this anymore. You know, Once was enough, then twice, then three times. This movie has had 4 announcement dates. And keep in mind, by the time that the Batman Part 2 comes out, February 18th, 2028, which is the new release date, supposedly, it could potentially change again. It's going to be 6 years in between the Batman Part 1 and the Batman Part 2. Now, I quite enjoyed the Batman Part 1, and I was really looking forward to a sequel. Now, did I think it would take 6+ years? No, I did not. Should it have taken that long? No, it should not. And by the time we get the sequel, I think Robert Pattinson's young Batman, young Bruce Wayne, who's in like year 2 of being the Caped Crusader, the vigilante of Gotham, is going to be like pushing 50 years old, man. Come on. What are we doing here? But anyway, the first Batman came out March 4th, 2022. And then we had an announced date for October 3rd, 2025. That was the original release date. Then it got pushed back to 2026. Then it got pushed back to October 1st, 2027. And now we're going into February 18th, 2028. And something about the Batman movie coming out in October, just I kind of liked that release date. Now that it's coming out in February, I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't get me that excited. So anyway, I understand that Matt Reeves doesn't want to rush the movie, and if they're delaying this movie to make the best possible Batman movie they can, to fulfill my needs and wants and desires, and to get both my bat nips hard and tingly in the cinema, then so be it. You know, I'm willing to wait an extra couple months for a better movie. But man, just stop giving me hope and taking it away. Oh, now I will say, or actually, to make up for this, they did release some camera test footage of Batman as sort of a pat on the back to say, hey, don't take it too hard. It's okay. Here's a 10-second clip of the Batman churning around that looks like it was generated by AI. But anyway, let's watch that clip together, okay? Okay, now they called this the first teaser for Batman Part 2, but it's basically a screen test that they release just so people didn't riot in the streets after the 19th delay of the movie. Here it goes. So anyway, listen, I'm a huge Batman fan and I'll take what I can get, but man, this is like the best thing you could release. This is it. Like, not even a shot of him like standing on a rooftop or something. Like, this looks like deleted footage from like the first Batman movie, and it very well could be for all I know. I mean, everything looks identical. I get no reference to anything. It just looks like Batman from the first movie. Like, if you're going to give us something, give us something. This ain't something. This is nothing. So, listen, I don't want to sound too negative on this, but I think sometimes people deserve more. Sometimes people deserve to have their faith rewarded. And we all deserve that for this delay. I mean, if you ask me, they should give us 5 minutes of the movie right now. I don't care if they're done shooting it. Just give me something, man. Come on. What do you guys think about this newest delay of the Batman 2? Are you as disappointed as I am? Or are you okay with it as long as we get the best movie possible? I just don't know how many more times I can take this. But anyway, you got Robert Pattinson returning. You got Jeffrey Wright. You got Andy Serkis coming back. You got newcomers such as Scarlett Johansson, which I'm really curious to see Scarlett Johansson in the Batman movie. I like me some ScarJo. You got Sebastian Stan coming back. And we still don't know who the solidified villains of the movie are. It could be anyone at this point. Also, the Penguin is supposedly supposed to come back at some point in this film. And the plot and the villain are still under wraps, so we don't even have a synopsis. Yeah, you think they would have like given us the synopsis of the movie? Okay, it's been 6 years. We're gonna delay it 6 more months. But here's what the movie's about. Nah, no, no, no. We don't get any of that. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on it. I'm just disappointed, but hopefully we do get something else soon. But then again, it's. I want to get excited for this movie, but we're still in 2026. We're only halfway through 2026. Keep this in mind. We got to get through 2026, all of 2027, and then a few months of 2028. Like, whoa. Oh, who? It's like I can't even. I don't know. I'm taking this off. I'm just whatever. All right. Let's go to the next topic. Leave your thoughts down below. What'd you think about this? Let me know. All right. Oh, don't give me that horse shit about sequels taking longer than 6 years. T2 was 8 years after T1. Yes, but here's the thing about Terminator 1. They didn't announce a sequel was coming immediately after Terminator 1. They didn't say, hey, we're going to have a sequel coming out in 2 to 3 years. They didn't do any of that. They made no promises on such things. So yes, it did take a little bit of time. But all I'm saying is, don't promise me something and not deliver it. Come on, man. All right. John, is your favorite Batman Michael Keaton? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I like me some Michael Keaton. He's my favorite, like, fun, charismatic Batman. I mean, going back to my childhood. But really, I think, like, Christian Bale might be my favorite Batman. I think Ben Affleck could have been a really good Batman had he actually gotten a solo Batman movie, which is just, how did they not give that man a solo Batman movie? How did Hollywood go, hey, here's a $1 billion movie. Let's make this. No, let's just not do that. But Michael Keaton will always be my childhood Batman, yes. Has Matt Reeves made a movie between the Batman and this? No. He has not. Robert Eggers would have been perfect to direct the Odyssey. I think there could be a version of the Odyssey from Robert Eggers, but when you watch a 70mm IMAX movie, I think Nolan was the right choice. Gotta be Clayface and Penguin, right? Maybe Joker since it's Barry Keoghan. Who knows at this point? I don't know if they're going to follow through with Barry Keoghan as the Joker. I almost wouldn't like to see that. That interpretation of the Joker doesn't do much for me. I would like to see like a cool take on Mr. Freeze, no pun intended, or something like that. Keaton is the best Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that argument. I'm hoping in the newest installment, and here's my hope for the upcoming Batman. I'm hoping that Robert Pattinson truly encompasses that playboy douchebag Bruce Wayne persona, and I feel like we didn't get there in the Batman because he was just hyper focused on being Batman. He didn't quite care about or need that persona as Bruce Wayne just yet. He was still in the emo phase, but eventually to truly hide to truly stay disguised as Batman, he's going to have to pick up on that persona as Bruce Wayne in the next installment. And I think it'll focus a little bit more on that. Or at least I assume it will. That's my theory. John, was the Odyssey better than Oppenheimer? I preferred the Odyssey more than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer to me was a really good movie. I think it's a really good historical movie. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. But listen, if I'm going to the IMAX theater, I'd much rather watch the Odyssey than Oppenheimer. And I have not watched Oppenheimer since watching it in IMAX when it came out. It just didn't lend itself to that rewatchability, or at least for me it didn't. So Logo Face says, I think the Joker has been done to death, honestly, all across Batman media. I agree. Give the Joker a rest. We don't need... You're not going to top what Heath Ledger did. Just give it a break. Do something else. Okay, the last movie topic I want to talk about today is the brand new upcoming movie, I Play Rocky. Now, we got a trailer for this movie, and I thought the trailer looked awesome. I knew nothing about this movie. Now, when it comes to the backstory that this movie's based on. It's based on the making of the original Rocky movie. And when this movie comes out, it will have been 50 years since the original release of Rocky in 1976. Now, I've always been a huge fan of Rocky. I think it's one of the pivotal underdog stories of all time. But also, when you look at everything that went into that movie and the making of it, and Stallone writing the screenplay and trying to sell it to studios, and they're like, well, we'll buy the screenplay, but we don't want you. Your mouth doesn't work. You sound like you're chewing on rocks. We don't want you, kid. Get out of here. Hey, oh no, I think I'm going to be good for it, And the making of that movie and Stallone going from nothing to being this Hollywood A-list celebrity overnight, it's really compelling stuff. And they're making a movie on that. So I love stuff like that. I love when they make movies about making movies. It's like one of my favorite genres that we don't get enough of. The last one that stood out to me was something like The Disaster Artist, based on the movie The Room. That's a funny story, Mark. So I'm really looking forward to this. Let's watch the trailer together real quick here. I think it looks really well done. And the guy that they got to play, Stallone, I don't think you could get a better casting choice. The guy looks the part. He sounds the part. I'm already sold on it. The trailer looks awesome.
I'm Mike.
Hey, I'm Mike.
Acting's what I live and breathe for.
Acting's what I live and breathe for.
I gotta have faith in myself.
You need to show everyone who you are.
I like this girl, Sylvester.
Now, when it comes to this story, I've heard this and looked it up over the years many of times. I've seen Stallone talk about it in a lot of interviews. And I always thought to myself, I was like, they should make that into a movie. And they finally did. Now, this is directed by Peter Farrelly, who directed like Dumb and Dumber, which is sort of an interesting choice to direct the movie. But, I mean, based on this trailer, it looks like he's getting it right.
Sylvester?
That's right, his real name.
It's got a nice ring to it. Sylvester Stallone.
Hell yeah, it does.
Peter Parker.
Like Einstein, but I got a brain.
There's something big here.
Yeah, 20 after 10.
I mean, the dude looks just like Stallone did in 1976. I mean, and he sounds just like him. The other thing I think is really cool about this is it's sort of like getting to go back and watch the original Rocky movie, because a good story will always be a good story no matter what or how many times it's told. And it's like we get to go back and revisit Rocky once again, but also with more context behind it. And I think it just adds like another layer to it. I think that's really cool. So, and plus we're going to get to listen to the iconic themes.
Hey,
All right, now if you do this, comes with some.
I'm
yourself.
copyright.
So you believe in me?
So do you believe in me? Look at that scene right here. Look at that. Anyway, I think that looks awesome. It's coming out this Thanksgiving. I'm really looking forward to it. I like little small scale movies like this. And, I think if you're a fan of Rocky, I think this will be a movie that you got to watch. Can't wait to check it out. Leave your thoughts down below. Are you looking forward to I Play Rocky? I know I am. I didn't even know this movie existed until like 5 days ago. So I think it looks like a good time. I actually have a clip where I play Rocky somewhere. I do the exact training montage. Where is that? Let me see if I can find it. I don't know. I can't find it right now. But anyway, guys, let's see what you guys had to say about this here. Is Sly producing it? I have no clue. Maybe. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he still owns some rights to it, so... Well, it's kind of a biopic, but also it's sort of like the making of the movie. So it's kind of weird that one of the Farley brothers are directing it. But based on the trailer, I think it looks good. All right. Oh, Mickey, get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves ya. You're gonna fart lightning and crap thunder. Oh, the training montage from Rocky 4. Yeah, that's my favorite training montage of all time. I mean, listen, you got Khal Drago shooting up the juice, working out with high-tech equipment, and you got Rocky just chopping wood, climbing to the top of mountains. God, I'm trying to remember where that training montage clip was. I'm going to see if I can find it. I just want you guys to look at my muscles. I'm sorry. Or my muscles I used to have. Rocky flick pick. Where would I put that at? I think I can find a clip of it. Let's see. Flick pick gym. I don't know where this video is. Let's see if I have a clip in this. I did a complete training Rocky montage. I have the video somewhere. I'd have to find it. Let's see if it's in this one. Let me scroll through this video real quick. Oh, here's like 5 seconds of it. Okay, I'll show you guys this here. Okay.
Music, and I hope you enjoy it, and then we'll go to the next clip. I'll see you there.
Got to mute it a little bit, sorry. That's me, being my best Flick Balboa. Oh, okay. Did I not have another clip of it? Oh, here it is. Look at me chop this wood. Look at this right here. Boom, baby. Boom goes the dynamite. Look at those muscles. Anyway, let's get out of here. Wasn't Rocky 4 in Russia? Yes, he goes to Russia to fight Khal Drago. And, or not Khal Drago, Ivan Drago. Sorry. I'd like to see him fight Khal Drago. Is that your Rocky cosplay? I will. You know, that's a good. I might be Rocky this Halloween. That is a great Halloween outfit. I might do that. I miss those days. I miss those days too, man. All right. James Dozier says, I might go see it. Rocky 1976 is one of my favorite films. Yeah, man, if it's one of your favorite films, how are you not going to go see the movie about making said movie? All right. All right, guys, let's keep going here. And real quick, someone asked this. This will be the last topic of today, then we'll dive into the questions. So if you guys got questions, get them in right now, and then we'll dive into all of your glorious questions in just a few seconds. The last topic of today I want to talk about here is welcome to prime time, bitch. There's a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie in the works from Paramount. Now, originally these rights were owned by Warner Brothers, and now Paramount finally got their hands on the rights, which is good news because, hey, we'll finally get a new Nightmare on Elm Street. And when it comes to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and Freddy Krueger, he is my favorite slasher, tormentor, antagonist character of all time. He's so iconic, and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are the horror movies I grew up with. When I was younger, these are the movies that my older sisters would always watch. We'd rent them from the video store. Back in the early 90s, like, Freddy Krueger was everything. He haunted your dreams as a child, but man, it was just awesome. I remember being Freddy Krueger for Halloween like 3 years in a row when I was a kid. I was demented and weird. Anyway, we got an upcoming movie, which gets me excited. Now, what happened was Wes Craven's family was able to get the rights back after some time. So that's how this movie's actually being made. So that's kind of cool. What else did they have to say? There's no plot or anything released, but it's going to be based on Wes Craven's original screenplay from Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's see. Yeah, Warner Brothers previously held the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street to the original 1984 film. So anyway, you know, when you have a prolific child killer like Freddy Krueger, I cannot wait to see more of that. Now, when it comes to that crappy remake that we got in like 2010, I thought that thing was an abomination against humanity. I thought it was awful. I thought it did nothing for the franchise, and it kind of like hindered it quite a bit. And there's a reason we haven't had a new movie in, well, let's see, 16 years now. But my big question to you guys watching right now, when it comes to a new Nightmare on Elm Street film, what would you like to see? Who would you like to see cast as the new Freddy Krueger? I love me some Robert Englund, but he's even stated that he's getting a little too old for the role. And hey, we got like 10 movies with Robert Englund. So, you know, as far as like a new casting choice, I'm not sure. I think you definitely need to cast someone who's somewhat unknown, but also has like this seedy, unlikability to them. You don't want to cast an actor that you like. We need to cast someone that we hate. You just don't even want to look at their face. It just disgusts you. That's who should play Freddy Krueger. Or at least I think should play Freddy Krueger. But the biggest question I have for you if you're watching right now is, should this new Nightmare on Elm Street movie be set in modern day, or should it be set in like the 1980s or the 1990s? And for me, I do not want to see a modern day telling of Nightmare on Elm Street. I just feel like kids running around having bad nightmares on their smartphone, reading Reddit forums. Something about that just does not give me that immersiveness I want. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see like some kid laying in bed scrolling on TikTok, falling asleep, then Freddy haunts his dreams. I don't want to see that shit. Okay, no, thank you. Okay, no. If they do make a new Nightmare on Elm Street, I want to see, I want to see it at least be in the 1990s. If you're gonna retell this story, at least go back to the mid 1990s. Okay, that feels like an appropriate time period. You can have a little bit of internet. People don't have smartphones. I think that would be the appropriate time period. That just makes it more scary and terrifying. So those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Jonah Hill as Freddy Krueger. I could see that. How about Seth Rogen as Freddy Krueger? I'm going to haunt your nightmares. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Rami Malek. Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, I don't want it. Austin Butler's Freddy Krueger. No, thank you, man. I don't think I could handle that. Just trying to do his like pretentious Elvis Presley voice. Yeah. So I started in this movie called Elvis. It's like you're in an interview talking about the movie. Why are you talking like this, Austin Butler? How about the early to mid 2000s? I don't know. I don't think there's anything scary. Okay, I'll give you like the very early mid 2000s. Early 2000s maybe, but I think the 90s would be better. Willem Dafoe is Freddy. I think Willem Dafoe's a little too old right now. Jason Segel. Okay. John Cena as Freddy Krueger. Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on that. Imagine a buff Freddy Krueger. I could see that. Give John his 90s back. Hey man, it was just a better way to make. Listen, it's not a. Okay, the decade is better, but I will say this. When it comes to storytelling, the further back you go before smartphones, the better the story is going to be. I hate movie scenes where you can just figure out any answer instantly. Oh, what's the problem here? Oh, okay, here it is. I got the answer, Billy. We're done. We've concluded this. I just think when you don't have every answer at your fingertips, it just makes for a more compelling story. When you actually have to go somewhere rather than FaceTime someone, I think that just makes for a more compelling movie. Call me crazy. All right. So I think I've held off long enough. What do you guys say? We dive into your questions, your topics, and let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. So here it goes. Whew, let's scroll back. Let's scroll way, way back. All right. Where are we at here? Shit, I had some questions earlier that I can't. Give me 2 seconds here. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone's question. Because sometimes when you guys leave a question immediately in the at the beginning of the live show, it will not pop up for me. And I'm trying to see if I can find it here. Okay, here it is. Okay, I just want to double check. That's all I'm doing. Okay, here it goes. Let me Pinocchio, how's it going? Pinocchio says, wasn't a fan of the Odyssey. In my opinion, I think Nolan made it too grounded, removing the gods and changed Odysseus's character from the book, but still rock with you, John. Well, listen, I understand making it more fantastical by all means. And I just think when it comes to like a Nolan approach of the film, I think it was like a really cool adaptation. And I think, I think it still had like that fantastical vibe as much as it could. I mean, keep in mind, you did see a giant Cyclops who was 60 feet tall. I mean, he did give you some of that fantasy and mythological, ness to the movie. So, but hey, by all means, man, I get it though. All right, the next one comes from Billy M. How's it going, Billy M? Who says, "You're not gay. You're not a gay shill. Returning full time to YouTube? Question mark. Well, I'm not a shill, but maybe the first part's questionable at best. Am I returning full time to YouTube? No. I'm doing YouTube when I want to do YouTube. If there's something I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. If there's a video I want to make, I will make it. So YouTube right now is sort of like a part-time gig for me, but I like it like that. I do. It makes me enjoy making videos more that way. When YouTube's a full-time job, it's immediately and immensely more stressful because it's not about wanting to, it's about having to. And when you have to be disingenuous for the sake of getting clicks, I just don't like doing that. Call me crazy. Whenever you guys see my stupid face, I just know it's because I wanted to push record on the camera that day. So no, I'm going to keep YouTube part-time for now. I like it. It's easier to compartmentalize. It's less stressful. It's more enjoyable. And when I am doing YouTube, I'm having fun with it. Because guess what? I don't have to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube. And I like that. After having to do it and wanting to do it for 15 plus years, it's nice to have the option to just do it when I want to do it. And I like that. So not full time, but thank you for not calling me a gay shill. I do appreciate that. Listen, I don't shill out for any. Let me tell you a quick backstory. All right. I'll never shill out for anyone. All right. Never. Do you remember the movie Gods of Egypt? Do you remember that movie? That's another epic ancient movie that came out in 2012, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in that time period. It was a piece of shit. I don't think I watched more than 10 minutes of the movie. But when it comes to Gods of Egypt, a company reached out to me, maybe the studio who put it out, and they offered me a large lump sum of money to say some nice things about Gods of Egypt. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I said no to them. I said, I can't do it. I won't do it. I cannot say this movie's good if it's not. So I just want you to know that about me, okay? All right. Now, maybe I should have. But I didn't. All right. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Cody Gill. How's it going, Cody Gill? Who should play the new Freddy and why? Well, we talked about John Cena potentially playing the new Freddy. Let's see what the internet's saying. Who should play Freddy Krueger? Can't wait for these casting choices. Someone said Willem Dafoe. Yeah, he's too old, man. You can't. Let's see. Yeah, it shouldn't be someone you recognize. It needs to be an unrecognized actor. How about How about we get Dustin from Stranger Things? An unknown character. Someone said, I don't want a comedic Freddy. I don't need a comedic Freddy, but I think you should have a slightly dark comedic approach to Freddy. Because let's be honest, what are the most successful horror films doing right now in Hollywood? they have a lot of dark comedy in them and horror. That's what works in Hollywood now. And to not do that in your Nightmare on Elm Street movie, where Freddy is like the perfect antagonist to do such things, that would be a detriment to your movie to some degree. It doesn't need to be a slapstick, but I just think you should definitely utilize some of that dark humor. Someone said Michael Cera. These are terrible. Okay, Reddit. Useless once again. Useless once again, Reddit. Okay, let's go to the next question here. And the next one. So who should play Freddy? I'm not sure, man. I couldn't tell you right now. Okay, let's go to the next question. And the next one comes from... You ever had any paranormal experiences, John? That comes from Jake Tammin. I've been asked that question like every live show for like the last month. Paranormal experiences. Nothing too crazy, but I did say this. I did say like there's been weird things that have happened in my life, like weird coincidental things where it's just like you almost have a premonition and it happens, or a thought and it happens. And I don't know if that's like projecting your own reality because we live in a simulation, or there's something beyond that brings itself to fruition. I couldn't tell you, but that's as paranormal as it gets. There's been things in my life where like 5 years ago, I'm like, wouldn't that be cool if this happened? And then 5 years later, the exact series of events happens. And I'm going, that was bizarre. So yeah, I don't know what that means. I couldn't tell you. So no, I've never been haunted by ghost, though I wouldn't mind. Walter Goggins. That would be an interesting casting choice for Freddy, but he's too well known and too well established. You need somebody unknown to play Freddy. Like Robert Englund, when he was cast as Freddy Krueger back in the 80s, no one knew him as an actor. And really, that was like the biggest acting role he ever had. So I thought like that was why that character really worked. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next glorious question of the night comes from Avocado Balls Johnson. How's it going, Avocado Balls Johnson? And you get a party popper. This will be our first party popper of the night. Just for you, Avocado Balls Johnson. All right. The pigeon lady has died. Her spirit will haunt you at night. Yeah, that will be one paranormal experience I will have. The pigeon lady. Johnny boy, you will be awake at 3 a.m. every night to the foul stench of a pigeon lady's poop and see her shadow standing in the corner of your room. Well, I hate to tell you this, but I do have that same nightmare every night. I don't have paralysis demons or anything like that. The pigeon lady, just, I can smell her everywhere I go. But, I'm okay with that. Just give her some Christmas ornaments and she'll go away. All right, the next one comes from... Let's scroll back here. Here we go. Carter Lovejoy. How's it going, Carter Lovejoy? Which movie should I watch this weekend? Grindhouse, Planet Terror, Death Proof, Point Break 1991, Raising Arizona, or True Lies? Ooh, man. Ooh, baby. Okay, so that's a good lineup. We got to give that some thought, and we got to give it enough thought, and we got to give it the thought that it so rightfully deserves. I would not be watching Planet Terror or Death Proof. I think those are two not that great of movies. I get it, but for me, I watched each of those once, and I will never watch them again. The best thing about those movies were the Grindhouse trailers that played in between both movies in the theater. And my favorite trailer from that, the Grindhouse trailer, was Thanksgiving Day, where you just have the guy as a giant turkey with a turkey baster in his ass. I thought that was phenomenal. That's cinema. But anyway, so now we're between Point Break, Raising Arizona, and True Lies. Well, Point Break is in my top 5 movies of all time because it's not about the money man. It's about us against the system, showing that human spirit is still alive while everyone else inches down the freeways in their metal coffins. Get me 2, Utah. Get me 2. So hungry I could eat the ass end out of a dead rhino. True Lies is a good time, man. Raising Arizona is a good time too. I haven't watched it in a long time though. I'm gonna tell you to watch Point Break. Watch Point Break. Perfect summer movie. Go watch Point Break. Death Proof is cool. Death Proof's fine. It's cool. I like Stuntman Mike, but someone said Mark Wahlberg is Freddy. I don't know. Hey, what are you doing over there? You having a nightmare or something? I'm gonna kill you. Hey, after I kill you, say hi to your mother for me. Hey, I'm not wearing a Christmas sweater, okay? Skylar Wheelock says Point Break just had its 35th anniversary. I remember hearing about that. And also Terminator 2 is having its anniversary soon. All these classic movies just having their anniversaries. Okay, yeah, watch Point Break, man. All right, the next one comes from. And by the way, Carter, thank you for the question, buddy. You get a super chat. James Dozier has been a member for 56 glorious months. Thank you, James. Thank you so much. I love you, James. I love you. All right. What is it? Tyler? What the? Skix Tyler. That's the best way I can pronounce it. Been down a rabbit hole of early 2000s horror movies recently. I liked Hostel, House of Wax, Wolf Creek, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All had a similar vibe. Any recommendations, John? Well, hey, man, if you're watching those early 2000s horror movies, you got to go watch the Ring remake from the early 2000s as well. By the way, that little girl, do you know she died of AIDS? Anyway, I would definitely recommend The Ring. I was not a big fan of Wolf Creek. I watched House of Wax once in theaters. I remember Paris Hilton being in the movie. And then Hostel, I've always enjoyed Hostel quite a bit. The sequel sort of sucks. But the original Hostel, where you have the dude in the chair, and the creepy dude has the rubber apron on with his gloves, and he's going, ha, 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 ha. I love it, man. I like me some Hostel. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think is a phenomenal movie. I think that's probably one of the best horror movie remakes of all time. They got everything right in that movie, especially Jessica Biel just running around. Oh, top tier. And plus Leatherface in that movie was terrifying as shit. I love that movie. So my recommendation would be The Ring from the early 2000s. I'm sure you've seen it, but man, go watch it again. Emilio Estevez is Freddy. Okay, I could work with that. Lou Diamond is Freddy. I don't know about that. Tommy Wiseau is Freddy Krueger. That's who I'm going to go with. So what is this, a nightmare or something? I once killed 27 kids on Guerrero Street. All right, let's go to the next one here. Let's scroll down. And thanks for the question, man. Avocado Balls Johnson back again says, pitch a movie about the diarrhea parasite. What genre would it be? Who would star? And who would direct? Well, I think it's going to be a dark comedy. Now, who would it star? I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking like... that's a great question. I mean, maybe Daniel Day-Lewis, if I could, I just think Daniel Day-Lewis eating Taco Bell, shitting himself in a movie would be great. Or Leonardo DiCaprio. Someone of that caliber is what this movie needs. But it could be a movie. I'm just telling you, give it time. This will be a Netflix movie or something. But it's kind of a weird phenomenon. It's just like the smallest things happen and it affects everything in reality. I can't eat Taco Bell. I can't go outside. What am I supposed to do? And I guess I'm doing it right now. I'm talking about movies on the internet, not wearing any pants right now. Jessica Biel is the best part of Blade Trinity, Them Gains. Jessica Biel was top tier, man. And she worked out. She looked good back in the mid-2000s. Yeah, she was good in Blade Trinity. She was way better than Ryan Reynolds was in that movie, and certainly better than Wesley Snipes was in that movie. With all of that said, we now have to look at the scene of Wesley Snipes in Blade Trinity with his eyes open. Blade Trinity, eyes open. Okay, this is glorious. So, if you don't know the backstory on this real quick, when they were making the movie Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes was being very difficult to work with, and there was a scene where he had to open his eyes when he was laying down on a table, and he simply refused to open his eyes. So they had to CGI his eyes opening into the scene, and it looks like a shitty Snapchat filter, and that's giving it too much credit. Look at that. Look at his eyeballs. Look at those eyeballs right there, just digitally on his face. Anyway, I just thought everyone should see that once again. Okay, let's go to the next question. That's the scene that keeps on giving. It certainly does. And I've told you guys this once. I'll tell you again. I'm not proud about it. I don't like to admit this. I saw Blade Trinity in theaters 3 times. 3 times. Listen, I don't want you to judge me too harshly. But the reason I did that was at the time that Blade Trinity came out, it was sort of like a dead zone for movies. And everyone that I knew wanted to go see it like a movie. And I was like, well, we can go watch Blade Trinity. It's like the only movie out right now. So I saw it with every one of my different friend groups. And I saw it 3 times. And I will say this about Blade Trinity. I will say this. It did have sort of kind of... And keep in mind, it had the same producer, and I think was it David S. Goyer who directed Blade Trinity. I think it was, right. You could pick up on some like early inspirations of Batman Begins and Blade Trinity, just like some of the lighting and the way some of the things looked. It looked like early Batman Begins sort of like ideas. Just pay close attention to it, because David S. Goyer, he wrote and directed it, and then he also was a producer and writer on Begins, and some of that lighting, that warm, like browny gold poopy lighting, atmospheric look kind of carries over in both movies. Pay close attention next time you watch Blade Trinity, if you ever do, and then immediately watch Batman Begins. There's some similarities. I'm just putting it out there. None of the good stuff, but there are some similarities. All right. Oh. All right. Macho Forever Dream says Snape's eyes are Cavill's mustache. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, baby. At least Wesley Snipes' shitty eyes were justified for like an early bad movie. Henry Cavill's CGI'd out mustache, there was no excuse for that. No excuse. Okay. Skylar Wheelock, how's it going? Says, the big question is, what does Nolan do next? I think he should do a horror movie. I think Nolan should do like a not $150 million movie, but do like a nice, I don't know, $50 million horror movie or something. I think that's what he should do next. And make it set in the 1800s or something. I think that would be a good Nolan next movie. Just putting it out there. And you wouldn't have to spend 5 years making it. It could be something you could do in a couple years. That's what I would like to see. Dustin Rich says, I waited forever in the Burger King drive-thru and they messed up my order. Give me your super chats. I don't even know what that means. I like me some Burger King, man. I wish I had one of those little paper crowns right now to wear. It would really make me feel better about myself. Bakatira says, William H. Macy is Freddy. He's too old, man. Well, I done told you, it's not here. I want to go watch Fargo now. Okay, the next one comes from Ill Magic 94, who says, I'm going to see the Odyssey on Dolby Screen next in Orlando. But when I get back here in Indy, I'm going to watch it again at the State Museum on IMAX. Hey, that's where I watched it. It's an awesome IMAX screen. The seats are comfortable enough. I'd much rather watch... I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to keep it completely real with you, okay? And don't judge me too harshly. And if you want to judge me, that's fine. I don't care. I'd much rather go to my local theater and like watch the Odyssey in a reclining chair that, you know, you push the button, you recline all the way back, you're relaxed on a decently sized screen, then sit in a stiff ramrod straight IMAX screen. I'm just, because keep in mind, when you go to an IMAX screen, there's still like a dude's head in front of you a little bit, no matter what. Like the bottom of the screen is covered by somebody's head, and you have to sit in this uncomfortable chair for 3 hours. I'd much rather watch a 3-hour movie in a reclining chair. I don't care if the screen size is half the size. There, I said it. But I will say the Odyssey looks damn good on legit IMAX. It's an experience. Batman Begins had the best version of Gotham in the Dark Knight trilogy. Oh, yeah, absolutely, SL Mike. Yeah, Gotham kind of felt grungy and dirty. You had the Narrows with all the homeless people. Oh, it was phenomenal, man. And then Gotham eventually just turns into Chicago, and then it turns into Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I think Gotham and Batman Begins actually had like a feel and an atmosphere to it. It was dark and gloomy and nasty. And that's what Gotham should have been. It was like a character in its own. And like, listen, I like Chicago. I like The Dark Knight, but it just looks like Batman's in Chicago. So anyway, and I do have a special movie night video revisiting The Dark Knight coming out hopefully next week. So look out for that. We talk all about The Dark Knight, and it's a good time. De Niro as Freddy. Yeah. All bloated, just stumbling around, giving a lackluster performance for a payday. No, thank you. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from, and by the way, Il Magic, thank you for the question. You get a party popper. Cleveland Neanderthal, how's it going? Like Oppenheimer, Nolan again had a war victory consequence. Yeah, so you're saying, because you had to abbreviate that very short. So you're saying sort of like Oppenheimer, there's another war movie and there's consequences for like people's actions. Is that kind of what I'm picking up here? Yeah, I definitely see how that theme carries over. The consequences of war you will pay for. And that's kind of, you're right. That's sort of what everyone does in the movie The Odyssey. Everyone pays for their sins during wartime. You're right. There's something to be said about that. Fire James Gunn. Yeah, hey, listen. When James Gunn, when they announced that he was in charge of the upcoming DCU, I was like, okay, well, let's see what he can do. Because at least they were going to have like a vision and like one creative mind to tie everything together. And I thought it would be slightly cohesive and there would be a vision. That's all I wanted. I was like, they're going to have a vision. They're not just going to make shit up as they go. And then a couple years into this, it's like the only two big superhero movies we have is Superman, and then we have Supergirl. And then we're getting another Superman sequel next year. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting everyone's time? You should have made Superman. Then you should have made a Green Lantern. Then you should have made Batman. That's the kind of shit you should be making. And then you get a Green Lantern TV show. It's like they're just throwing everything everywhere, and it doesn't feel like they have a real vision. And I'm really disappointed. So I don't think James Gunn is, based on what I've seen so far, is like the best choice to be the head of the DCU. And some of the responses I read from this guy on Twitter towards like criticisms, I'm just like, you're still not comprehending it. And the fact that you can't comprehend it tells me that you don't have the capacity to actually make anything people want to see. And just listen, I'm telling you, they're going to crap out a few more movies in this universe, and they're going to have to redo it again. They're going to have to redo it again. That's just that. I'm sorry. They got the tone wrong already. This is not the tone anyone asked for. All right. So I agree with you. Zack Snyder, he can do good stuff. But he also gets a little too carried away with some of his Snyderisms. Like Man of Steel was good stuff. But then like you get into Batman v Superman, it's like you got some good stuff in there, but you also have a lot of bad stuff. So I guess what we need is a director who's not overly self-indulgent, who simply just makes the best movie possible without getting too self-indulgent. James Gunn is a one-trick pony. Yeah, he just uses crazy music for needle drop sequences that sort of feel out of place, but only worked for Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's trying to copy and paste that same formula again for every DCU movie, and it's just not working? Yeah, you mean like that? Logo Face says, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. It's just the truth. You don't need to fight a war when all you have to do is take out one asshole. That's all you got to do. He comes off as an asshole too. Yeah, James Gunn does kind of come across like a little bit asshole-ish, doesn't he? He comes across like one of those guys, well, actually, I liked his Scooby-Doo movies. And hey, listen, if James Gunn wants to go direct Scooby-Doo movies, maybe that's what he should do. Go direct Scooby-Doo movies made for Netflix. That's what you should be doing, James Gunn. All right? Wes Anderson should direct DCU movies. That would be good. Or how about Paul Thomas Anderson? That's who should be directing DCU movies. All right, let's go to the next question here. And the next one comes from James Doshier, who says, John, which movie do you consider the most terrifying? Silence of the Lambs or Seven? I pick Seven. John Doe is downright terrifying. Well, what's his name is actually even more terrifying in reality. By the way, I watched K-Pax for the first time like a couple months ago. It's a very like early 2000s movie. I'd never seen it. It's okay. Listen, I love Seven, and I get that it is terrifying and kind of seedy and dark and bleak, and it has all those things going for it. You know, some of the scenes like Sloth, where, you know, you have somebody that has to eat themselves to death, and John Doe, where he's giving that monologue about being on the subway and some guy trying to make small talk with him, and he just puked on him. Like, I relate to things like that. What's in the box? What's in the fucking box? I think Seven's a masterpiece. And plus Morgan Freeman, oh, top tier, man. And so atmospheric. And then I don't want to get demonetized, but the one dude who has to put on like the leather chastity belt with the spike on it. And he's like, he made me do it, man. He made me fuck her. I love that. But then you have Silence of the Lambs, which is, in fact, in my top 20 movies of all time. Because you have the characters. You have Hannibal Lecter. You have Buffalo Bill. Two great psychopathic serial killers on different spectrums. You have Hannibal Lecter, who's this smart, sophisticated, and you just, every word that he says, even though he only has like 8 minutes of screen time in Silence of the Lambs, he just chews up the entire movie and steals every scene. I love it. I think Hannibal Lecter is one of my favorite movie characters of all time. So where will it tickle you when you're laying on the slab? But then you have Buffalo Bill. And listen, when it comes to terrifying shit, I do not ever want to experience it's being trapped in the well of someone like Buffalo Bill. And keep in mind, these people exist. There are people like this. They kidnap people, put them in wells, cut their skin off, and make lampshades made out of their nipples. And with all that said, it puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the fucking lotion in the basket. Whoa. But first, it puts the party popper into the camera. So I'm going to go with Silence of the Lambs. I think it's much more terrifying and much more realistic. And the fact that it is realistic makes it that much more terrifying. Okay. What great casting for that film. Yeah, both movies had great casting. I don't think you could cast either movie better. Gary Sinise as Freddy. Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise? Oh, yeah. My eyeball itches. Gary Sinise is good. Lieutenant Dan, but man, he's too old. Once again, you got to get someone younger to play Freddy. You can't have some 60-year-old guy playing Freddy, man. He's got to have a little physicality to him. How about Nicolas Cage as Freddy? I'd be happy with that. All right. Let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from... Oh, by the way, thanks for the super chat, James. Once again, buddy. You get a party popper right to your face, man. Carter Lovejoy, back again. How's it going, Carter Lovejoy? Do you think the 4K Blu-ray for the Odyssey will include the IMAX 70mm aspect ratio or no? I think if they don't put that on the physical release, they are just completely incapable. And if you're not going to give someone that on a physical release, because keep in mind, if you're buying physical copies of movies, clearly you're a film enthusiast and you want that 70mm IMAX aspect ratio. So I would hope that they do. And I think if Nolan has any say, it'll definitely be on there. I don't know why they wouldn't do it. I think that would be like such a detriment and just completely stupid. So I would assume it will be. But anyway, Carter Lovejoy, thank you for the question. I hope it is. I hope it's on there, man. There's your party popper. Okay, the next one comes from Joel Douglas 1002. Joe Douglas? There we go. All right. Should Nick Nolte be cast as the next Uncle Ben? Listen, I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be interesting. And I think if Nick Nolte was cast as the next Uncle Ben, it would go something like this. Well, it's a real nice thing what you did for that boy in the streets, Peter. With great responsibility comes great power. Mm-hmm. So maybe something like that. Peter, no. That's what I would like to see. Do you read any books or manga? If so, what are you reading right now? I listen to audiobooks, but I'm real picky on books. And here's the thing about novels. Every time I listen to a novel, I just think, man, this is just like filler for the sake of filler. Like if you were going to make this into a movie, you could cut this out. You could cut this out. This isn't necessary. This is like, I'm really picky when it comes to my books because keep in mind, when you listen to an audiobook, it takes like 16 hours. And I'm like, it's just sometimes most novels, I think a majority of novels are not very good. Like they have a lot of good aspects to them. There's a lot of good ideas, but they always go like a weird direction I don't want them to, or it's just like not that good, or you can just tell it gets self-indulgent, or they're just trying to pad the book and just with a lot of filler. Like there's literal chapters of filler and I can feel it oozing over me. I don't like it. So I'm really picky when it comes to books. You know, the best audiobook I ever listened to or best book I ever read was like that kept me on the edge of my seat was Project Hail Mary. I will say the novel Project Hail Mary to me is significantly better than the book or better than the movie. It's a good movie. I think they did a really good adaptation, but the book is so much better. But with all that said, right now the wife and I are listening to Sphere. We want to go back and listen to some like Michael Crichton novels. But the thing is, man, there's just like not a lot of like I've searched high and low looking for like epic space adventure, science-based novels, you know, things like Project Hail Mary or, you know, something along those lines. I like survival stories. And it's just like it doesn't feel like a lot of them exist. It's odd. Out of the millions of books that we have, there's not a lot that just tickle my fancy. If you guys have a recommendation for an awesome novel that you think will blow my socks off based on what you just heard today. Something that's like Project Hail Mary, that doesn't get weird and self-indulgent, that actually keeps you on the edge of your seat. Let me know what it is. I'd love to hear from you. Do you like blue cheese? No. Shia LaBeouf is Freddy. Why are we still talking about Freddy Krueger? Jesus Christ, can we move on? All right. Jeff Goldblum. Okay, Jeff Goldblum is Freddy. I think we solved it. You are going to have nightmares in your nightmare dreams? Yeah, I'm going to kill you now. Okay, all right. And now he's running. Okay. The Atlantis World by A.J. Riddle. Is it good or is it kind of like cheesy and cliche? Where they go find Atlantis. I just don't make it cliche. I want something good. Escape from New York novelization. Yeah, I've seen the movie so many times, though. The Rock of Enoch? Or Enoch? The Rock of Enoch? I think that sounds familiar. What is the Rock of Enoch? The Rock of Enoch. I don't even know what that is. Neither does Google. Okay. That's chaos theory. Did you see that CM Punk's the new champion? Yeah, man, I keep up with wrestling all the time. Actually, after this live show, I'll probably go watch SmackDown. You know what we were gonna watch because I've been in the mood for like a Sam Neill movie I haven't seen in a long time. I might watch Event Horizon. I think I want to go back and revisit Event Horizon. It's been a long time, which is sort of like Sphere but in space. Logo Face says, John, have you seen The Drama? No, I don't think. Why is my collar? I'll fix that up a little bit. I don't like how loose that is. Look how loose that is. What's going on? I'm going to Money in the Bank in October, which is cool. Hey, man, have a good time. Have a good time. SummerSlam tickets are getting way cheaper. They've only sold out like 1/5 of the stadium. So if you wait on tickets for Money in the Bank, they might get significantly cheaper closer to the event. Have you read the Harry Potter books? I have not. My wife has read them all like 50 times and seen the movie like 100 times. I'm looking forward to the new series, but I have not read the books. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm sorry. I like the concept. I like the movies. I'm not that into them. Bicentennial Man. That's the movie, Johnny. Oh, I love Bicentennial Man. Hello, little miss. Definitely an underrated Robin Williams movie. If you've never seen Bicentennial Man, basically Robin Williams plays a robot who is the butler for this family, and he goes on this journey that spans decades, becoming a real person. And the meaning of the movie is, what makes a real person? Is it consciousness? Is it having organic organs in your body? Like, what is it? What is the concept of what a real person is? It's a really great movie. I wonder if my wife has seen that. That might be a good movie to show her. I like me some Bicentennial Man. I haven't watched The Drama, though. The Drama with Robert Pattinson. It's hilarious. I have not seen it. I am looking forward to that new Robert Pattinson movie. What's it called? The Chris Hansen movie? Why don't you come have a seat? But before they come in, you just hear a little voice in the background. I'm baking some cookies. Come in and sit down. Oh, God. And then they take off running and get tackled in the front yard. Okay, let's go to the next question here. And the next one comes from... Here it goes. Real Rap 17, who says, will you be at Bird Lady's funeral because she's bird food? Oh, man, show some respect for the pigeon lady. I don't know, man. We talked about the pigeon lady earlier. Rest in peace. You know, she seemed like a nice lady. The pigeon lady always disgusted me. And every time she was on the screen in Home Alone 2, I just could not eat. Just ruined my appetite. It's like, here, man, listen, you live in Central Park. Just jump in the pond and clean that bird shit off of you, okay? All right, let's go to the next one. But thanks for the question, man. And here's a party popper for you and the pigeon lady. The next one comes from Cleveland Neanderthal back again, who says, "Give us a doomsday prediction in a Stallone voice." Let me take a drink of this Powerade grape flavored hydration drink. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know. I think the original X-Men are going to die in this movie or something. I don't know. Maybe Doomsday wins and it's kind of like Infinity War. We copy and paste the formula and we do it again. And then in Strange Wars, they all come back. I don't know. I hope that made any sense. And I hope you could slightly comprehend what I just said to you. But I think it's time to move on from that. I hope that was fulfilling and I enjoyed doing it. Skylar Wheelock says 8477. Actually, that's his name, Skylar Wheelock 8477. But he says, "What are your thoughts on Danny McBride directing the new G.I. Joe movie? He also wrote the script." Listen, the last couple installments of G.I. Joe movies completely sucked balls. I would even go so far as to say they sucked ass. Now, when it comes to that Snake Eyes movie, that sucked more than ass or balls. That sucked the entire shaft all the way down the throat until it gagged. That movie was an abomination against humanity, and it was just so bad. How are you going to make a Snake Eyes movie, but you don't even get Snake Eyes until like the last 13 seconds of the movie? It committed every sin against cinema. But with all that said, Danny McBride has stated he's a huge fan of G.I. Joe. And if they make a G.I. Joe movie that's kick-ass, has action, but also has like a little bit of levity and comedy and a little bit of self-awareness along the way, sounds good to me, man. I'm looking forward to it. Originally, when that first G.I. Joe's movie was, when we got the first teaser trailer back in 2008 for that G.I. Joe movie directed by Stephen Sommers, I believe, I thought the trailer looked kind of cool, but when you have a movie starring like Marlon Wayans and like it just, you knew it wasn't going to be that great, but I was hoping it would be, and it just never got there. But yeah, I would be down for a cool new G.I. Joe movie. I mean, it has so many awesome characters. Just make them do interesting stuff. Like you can have a big epic action movie with G.I. Joe. They just come on, Danny McBride. Give it to me. I don't know if he's the right guy to give it to me, but I'm hoping he does. He messed up Halloween. Did Danny McBride write Halloween? Yeah, you're right. He did. He's a terrible screenwriter. Okay. Let's go to the next one here. And thanks for the question, man. We'll sum it up with this. I don't think the Danny McBride G.I. Joe movie can be worse than the previous installments that we had. There you go. How about a Christopher Nolan G.I. Joe movie? That's what I want to see, man. All right, here's a super chat from Riddle in the Dark. Thank you for the super chat, man. Very generous of you. It does mean a lot. So, and thanks to all of you guys. But thanks again. All right, so here it goes. John, thoughts on the movie Hider in the House with Gary Busey? Oh shit, we'll talk about this. Also, if you found out Gary was hiding in your house, would you kick him out? Or would you be comforted knowing he was there watching you lovingly all the time? Now, we need to talk about this movie, Hider in the House. I have not seen this movie in a very long time, because it does, in fact, haunt my nightmares. And if you see it, it will haunt your nightmares or your dreams. Now, Hider in the House, look at Gary Busey right there in the window watching this lady sleep. That is essentially the premise to the movie. What happens is, it's a 1989 movie. After escaping an abusive childhood by burning his parents alive, Tom is hospitalized for 18 years in a psychiatric center, apparently rehabilitated. Tom is released from the center and hides in the attic of a newly built house. Starring Gary Busey. Okay, so what happens in this movie, and I won't go too far with spoilers, but he lives in the attic of the house, and he builds this fictitious wall in the attic to where when you look inside of it, you wouldn't notice that he has a little room inside of this attic area. And it's creepy, man. And there's been times where I've heard noises in my attic, like footsteps, and I immediately do think of Gary Busey in my attic. I do. And I go up there. I climb up into my attic with a flashlight and make sure Gary Busey's not up there. I've done that at least 3 times in my life. I'm not proud to say it, but I'm just telling you, if you hear a noise in your attic, check to see if Gary Busey's up there. He might be up there stealing your Christmas ornaments. I'm Gary Busey. I'm going to take your Christmas tree and put it in my butt. But man, Hider in the House is a great little gym. Watch it sometime on a rainy, cold night eating a frozen pizza. I definitely recommend it. I didn't say it was good. I said it was worth watching, though. Take that how you will. It could be based on true events. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure someone's done that. But thanks for the question. Thank you so much. All right. T-Man Z4 says, which is more boring, Hulk 2003 or Superman Returns? Ooh, both of them almost put me to sleep in the cinema. Superman Returns has like one action scene. It's really boring. Lex Luthor builds a shitty like kryptonite island to have real estate on it, and it's like, no one's gonna live here, man. This place like looks uninhabitable. It looks like the asteroid in Armageddon. You can't live on this shit. What are you gonna do? Build condos in a Walmart? No. And then you have the Hulk. Now, I would say visually, the shitty Hulk movie from 2003 with Nick Nolte, but it did have Jennifer Connelly in it with Eric Bana. Sometimes when he's Hulk jumping around 8 miles at a time, I at least think it's kind of fun to look at. And then you have the crappy transitions with comic book pages that looks like an iMovie transition. I don't know. That's a great question. That's my question for you guys watching right now. Which movie is worse, Superman Returns or the Hulk 2003? I would say from a storytelling perspective, I think Hulk 2003 might be worse. And the truth is, I have not rewatched that movie since like 2006. I've never brought myself to rewatch it, and I don't think I can. So I might say Hulk 2003 is the worst movie. Maybe we go with that. I don't know. Eric Bana's Hulk would look dope in a Snyder movie. It definitely looked better than what we're getting with what's-his-face. At least you have Jennifer Connelly to look at, yeah. But then they have giant fighting dogs at the end of it. It's kind of bad. Superman Returns is really boring. Ang Lee's Hulk is more entertaining. Yeah, maybe I should go back and revisit it. And I probably never will. But Jennifer is better than Kate. I do agree. Jennifer Connelly's like a fine wine. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Dan Aykroyd is Freddy. Why not? I want Nicolas Cage as Freddy. I want Nicolas Cage as Freddy. What's the matter? You afraid of claws or something? I'm gonna haunt your nightmares. I'm a little wired. You've been up all night. All right, let's go to the next one here. No more shitty impressions. Tio Roglic 7325 says, "What other DC show you like besides Batman? The animated series. What other DC? I don't know, man. I don't like a lot of comic book TV series. I just never think they're that great. I think, like, I get that they have a few good episodes, but they never are that fulfilling to me. I always feel like I'm watching the C-rate version of a wannabe comic book movie, sparsed out, that looks like it doesn't have enough budget. I'm trying to think of like the best comic book series. Best comic book TV series. I know someone's going to say The Penguin. I'm just really picky when it comes to my comic book series. I liked the first couple seasons of The Boys. There's just not... I just don't get into a lot of them. I mean, Tales from the Crypt, if you want to be technical about it, I guess. I wasn't into any of the CW shows. I wasn't into Smallville. I mean, the X-Men animated series from the 90s was pretty badass. I was into that when I was a kid quite a bit. And all the video games and arcade games. But as far as like any live action ones, I don't know. I guess Daredevil, the first couple of seasons of Daredevil were pretty good on Netflix. And then Disney got a hold of it and it's like, I think like Daredevil, the first couple seasons of that would be like the last great comic book show that I watched. I'd go with that. Someone said Moon Knight. I watched Moon Knight. I did not think it was that great. Watchmen is the best one. I watched one episode of that and I did not continue it. The Arrow, I never got into Arrow, so I never really watched it. I've heard people love it though. Batman the animated series, obviously. That's my childhood. Like, you couldn't get darker and more bleak in a Batman TV series made for kids that had this dark film noir Art Deco vibe that was like had these like adult themes about death and despair and losing like your loved ones. Like the Batman animated series was ahead of its time. And it didn't treat its audience like stupid little troglodyte, smooth-brained kids. Like, that's what I was watching when I was 5 years old. Now 5-year-olds are watching sing-along weird, creepy shit on YouTube where people sing about sharks. Well, here's the next song, everybody. You guys know what I'm talking about? What is that song from... My wife's a teacher. She always tells me about the weird shit kids watch nowadays. And I'm like, what is this? Sharks. What's the shark song? Oh, here it is. What? Okay. Yeah, the Baby Shark song. It is catchy, I'm not going to lie. But I don't like it, okay? I don't like it. These little kids should be watching the Batman animated series. It'll make them better individuals, okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. I got the Baby Shark song wrong. I'm 39 years old, okay? I'm sorry I got the fucking child song wrong. Here, let me punish myself. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Two Girls, One Shark. That's my song. I want to... All right. Let's just move on. You got me worked up. Let's go to the next one here. Real Rap 17 back again says, I review movies in rap form on my channel. Check it out when you get a chance and let me know your thoughts. Well, Real Rap 17, that better be your channel name or else I'm not going to be able to find it, man. Real Rap 17. Is that your channel name? Because I don't see it. I don't see it on here, man. Is it Brett Altop? Is that you?
Okay, song Sun Blue.
Oh, here. Is this you?
Kate nominated? If she wasn't, then she ought to be. Charming little flick about a couple with a shtick impersonating Neil Diamond, not a Neil biopic. The music kind of rocks. Neil Diamond had some bops, and the stories about love and what happens when it's lost. Hugh Jackman's always great. He disappears into the role, and if the goal is to make us cry, well, then they death achieve their goal. My mom even liked it.
Okay, well, that's kind of cool, man. I think you should pick bigger. I think you should pick like a real big movie though. You got Marty Supreme, Song Sung Blue. I'm telling you, man. Listen. I'm gonna give you $1 million idea right now, Brett Altop. This better be your channel name. This better be you. I don't know who else this is. It's got to be you, right? You need to do a Spider-Man rap. When the new Spider-Man movie comes out, you need to do a rap about that in review form. I'm telling you right now, that would do very well. And if you condense that shit into like 90 seconds and throw it on TikTok, I'm telling you, man, if it's good, you're going to blow up overnight. That's my best advice to you. You want to go viral? That's it. But cool stuff. Definitely check him out, guys. Brett Altop, Real Raps 17. Check that shit out right there, baby. Look, click that subscribe button. It feels so good. I liked it. All right. Thanks for the all the love, man. Thank you so much. John, your stream is duplicated. It's duplicated but never manipulated. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from Theo. Why can I not say your name? Is it Teorglick? 7325, who says, John, do you think the Carter in the Rye can be made into a movie or TV? Oh, The Catcher in the Rye. Sorry. Do I think The Catcher in the Rye can be made into a TV or movie? Yeah, I do. It's about coming to terms and yeah, why couldn't it be? I think Catcher in the Rye can be made. Wasn't it already made into something? I feel like this has already been something. Catcher in the Rye movie. There is no authorized film adaptation of Catcher in the Rye. Huh, that's so interesting. Why? I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. Yeah, I think they could do it. I think like a limited series would probably be the best approach, but it's really odd that they haven't done it yet. Oh, the Salinger family won't allow it. Well, it's like their novel has had enough time to live on. Maybe you should adapt it into a live action adaptation so more people can enjoy it, I guess. It'd probably be directed by... It'd probably become a Netflix series or some shit like that and suck. Come to England, Johnny man. You buy me a plane ticket and a place to stay, and I will come. My promise to you. You buy me some fish and chips, I'm there day one, man. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Jazarm, how's it going? Or Jamzarm, who says, hey there, John. Rest in peace, Pigeon Lady, actress Brenda Fricker. Didn't know she was an Oscar winner. Yeah, I didn't know that either, but good for her and rest in peace. Here's a party popper for the Pigeon Lady and for you. Thanks for the comment. Thanks for the question. I only got a handful of party poppers left. So, Robert Echo Boy says, bro, I freaking love you. I had my dream come true. I hope it was a... Never mind. I was going to say I hope it's a wet dream. But anyway, man, I love you too, man. Thanks for watching. I love all of you. Okay. Let's go to the next question here. I can feel the love tonight. If you really want me to feel that love, click that like button. I don't know if it helps, but at least it'll help that stupid algorithm somehow, some way. All right. The next one comes from Wade Hallen. Wade Hallen, how's it going? All right, here it goes. Wade Hallen says, hey, John. I recently saw something that said James Gunn's Batman is going to have the blue trunks on the outside of the gray suit. Sounds like a disaster. Your thoughts? Man, part of me is like, that could be kind of cool. I get it. If Superman is wearing red underwear, why can't Batman and just dedicate to it? And I do say this. Here's the only way you could make that work. And hear me out. James Gunn, if you're listening, and I know James Gunn listens to every single one of my live shows, here it goes. If this is an older interpretation of an older Batman who's in his 50s, if the movie has a multiple flashbacks of when he first started as the vigilante, going back decades and decades ago, maybe he was Batman in the 1980s or something, maybe those flashback scenes, he is wearing the gray suit with the blue underwear. Maybe that could be a thing, okay? And then in present day, he's wearing like a dark gray suit or the black Batman suit without the blue underwear. Because I don't know if I want my modern day Batman to be wearing blue underwear. Please give him a gray suit. By all means, give him like a gray Batman suit. But blue underwear, I think we're pushing it a little bit far. It's kind of cool. It's awesome. But I think if they show like flashback sequences to him in his like youth as Batman, when he was like in his 20s as the Caped Crusader, I think that could work. That would make a little sense. But I don't know if I don't know if that works for like Batman. Superman, it makes sense. But for Batman, I just don't know how you could take that guy as like a scary, menacing vigilante threat in the dark alleyways of Gotham City. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Like, it works in the comics, but what do you guys think about Batman's blue underwear? Let me know down below. But anyway, man, thank you so much for the question. That's a good question. I'm just hoping the movie's good. I'm hoping it goes into the fantasticalness that Batman can be, but also it doesn't make it all James Gunny. Like, I don't want to see Batman like fighting the Joker and they play some 1970s rock song or something. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Matt Reeves' first job writing Under Siege 2. Was it? I didn't know that. Logo Face says, I don't get why James Gunn has writers that already wrote previously shitty DC movies coming back to write for this one. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't understand why you could just hire anybody you want to write these movies. Just hire a really competent screenwriter. Or just hire somebody off the internet. Anything. Logo Face says the bright blue and gray suit with undies would look insanely goofy. Yeah, I think that's pushing the limits for Batman. Carter Lovejoy says, have I ever seen a live orchestra accompanying have I ever seen a movie accompanied by a live orchestra? I have. I saw one of the Harry Potter movies. I think it was Prisoner of Azkaban. I saw that and they had a live orchestra there. It was pretty cool. Dustin Rich says there will never be a James Gunn Batman movie if the next Superman movie doesn't make money. He's likely to be replaced. And that's the thing about the Superman sequel. I feel like it'll do okay, but I don't think it's going to do these numbers they hope it will. Unless they throw Batman in it. Unless they throw like 5 other heroes in this movie that people actually want to see. But then again, the first Superman movie did that and it just like, it was okay. Yeah, I feel like James Gunn needs to be replaced. I don't think he's gonna be able to give us the DCU that we want to see. They went way too far with the levity. It's like they took what they thought Marvel was doing well with some of the levity and comic bookiness, and they're like, they just went too extreme with it. It's just not working. Bring back Ben Affleck at this point. Fine by me. Are you excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day? I am excited for it. I think it looks like it's finally a Spider-Man movie where Spider-Man feels like Spider-Man. He's broke. He's in the streets of New York. He doesn't have Stark tech. He's lonely. He's depressed. And I like shit like that. I like that. That's relatable. I think that's cool. You know? Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Absolutely. And I'm curious to see where it goes, what they do. So we got a couple weeks. Hopefully it's good. Jonah Hex movie? Oh, that was terrible. Megan Fox looked good in it, though. Do you think we will see Robin? Well, they are going to have Batman's son in Batman the Brave and the Bold, supposedly. So we might get some kind of Nightwing-esque vibe going on. Maybe we will have a Robin, or maybe or maybe there'll be like there might be an interpretation of Robin, or maybe some flashbacks or something. I don't know. Do I need to see Robin? No, I don't need to see Robin. I think Batman's a strong enough character on his own. But if they tell like a backstory that Robin existed with some flashbacks, I think that'd be kind of cool. Because think about this, guys. If you make a Batman movie where Batman's 50 years old and you pick up on like an older, grizzled Batman, and then you have his son in the movie, imagine what you can do with like, and I don't want to say they make a prequel or anything, but they could. But imagine what you could do with like earlier interpretations of this. You could have a Batman TV series where you talk about the first 10 years of him becoming Batman. And in something like that, you could have Batman and Robin in there. Like there's so many other things you could do if you go back in time with Batman. Elliot Page is Robin. There you go. She's been working out, right? She's been boxing pool noodles. So, I mean, yeah, she's getting in shape for Robin. Give her some green underwear, a yellow cape, whatever, you know. Damon Wayne, played by Elliot Page. And it's a possibility. All right, let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, 8477, who says, random question of the day. How come every inmate in Shawshank had perfect teeth? Do they? I don't think they have perfect teeth. I mean, I don't think... The guy from The Sisters didn't have perfect teeth. I'll prove it to you, dude. Morgan Freeman doesn't have perfect teeth. Shawshank Redemption Sisters. Yeah, there's Boggs. You can't see his teeth there, but he's taking a shower. There he is. I'm going to see if anyone... it's hard to find a... Why is everyone's mouth closed? All right. Dude, there is not one image of someone's teeth. I'm going to type in teeth now. Oh, there. That's what I was looking for. That's exactly what I was looking for. You think that dude's got perfect teeth, man? Come on. Look at Morgan Freeman right there. Wait. I wouldn't say those are perfect teeth. So I would disagree with such statements. All right, let's keep going here. Dustin Rich says they could have done a Batman Beyond movie with Keaton, but Hollywood is tarded. Yeah, that was such a missed opportunity. Just the Batman Beyond movie could have worked perfectly. Just even if it's a standalone movie, make the Batman Beyond, make it a TV show or something. Like, Batman is money. That is box office gold. I have an idea, everyone. Let's make a Supergirl movie. That's what the masses want to see. Logo Face says, yeah, the Flash director who's directing Brave in the Bold already handled two Batmans poorly in one movie. Yeah, is that who's still attached to it? The dude who directed the Flash movie that looked like it was shot with a GoPro camera? Ugh, that is... And Batman in that movie looked awful. The color grading looked awful. The entire... Ugh. I don't hate the Flash movie, but that is... I would not want my Batman movie to look like that. All right, we got 225 beautiful people in here. By the way, real quick, how about a random segment of the day? Let's talk about some new 4K movies I've picked up or were sent to me over the last couple weeks. And today's movie is going to be Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas from Arrow Video. Now, this is such an underrated movie. If you've never seen Falling Down, I think this is a very relatable movie. This is a guy who's just at the end of his wits, if you will. He's having a really shitty day. He's in a hot car with no air conditioning, in traffic, in LA, and he just can't take it anymore. Falling Down is phenomenal. I love this movie. There's a scene where he goes into a fast food restaurant, and he essentially does what I think we've all wanted to do, where he just whips out an automatic machine gun and complains about how shitty the food is. But this was sent to me by Arrow Video. I want to open this bad boy up. And when it comes to Arrow Video releases, I think they're probably my favorite physical release company right now. Just whatever they put out, they do it right. When it comes to the transfers, the release, the slip covers, the artwork, it's just a thing of beauty. So let me open this bad boy up. Oh, I love the smell of plastic. Oh yeah. You got a nice little slip cover there. There's the back of it. And then here's the case. Let's open this up. This comes with the 4K. And then inside of it, you got see, they never let me down. This is just an ad. But anyway, you got a little booklet here for Falling Down. And the contents in this booklet are I'm the Bad Guy, Nostalgia, White Collar, and some other stuff. So it's got a little backstory on the movie. Stuff like that. Pretty cool. But yeah, I have not watched Falling Down in a couple years. I don't think my wife has ever seen it, so this might be a good introduction to her on the movie. I'm going to explain to her. Basically, this is me. I'm one bad day away from becoming Michael Douglas in this movie. But great movie. If you've never seen it, can't recommend it enough. The 4K comes with it's a brand new 4K restoration, so I'm hoping that looks good. It was approved by the cinematographer of the movie. Okay, I'm liking that. It's got Dolby Vision HDR10. New restored original lossless stereo audio. And by the way, this movie was directed by Joel Schumacher, who directed such classics as Batman and Robin. But Joel Schumacher, when he put his mind to it, he could direct a damn good movie. So anyway, it's got some other special features on it. So I'm definitely going to check this out. Are you guys picking up Falling Down on 4K? Let me know down below. Oh, Falling Down is probably based on true. Yeah, definitely a guy you could have a beer with. Yeah. John, who do you think will be the best cast to play Professor X in X-Men? Patrick Wilson or Bill Skarsgård? How about Owen Wilson? Well, gosh, the X-Men are here. Oh, I don't know. What's wrong with James Fassbender or not? Mike? Not? Did I just James? Oh my God, what is his name? Magneto. James McAvoy. Yes, James McAvoy. Get James McAvoy back. I'm fine with that. Dustin Rich says, will you go Falling Down mode when you hit 40, John? Yeah, I probably will. Logo Face says, Arrow Video's Donnie Darko 4K looks insane. Oh, that's good to hear. I have not watched it. I don't own it. All right, let's keep going here. Let's go to the next one here. I'm way behind on the questions, so here we go. Avocado Balls Johnson says, YouTube Goose Wayne wore a rubber Batman mask 24/7 for months. It caused hair-eating fungus to grow on his scalp, which led to him going bald. I think I read about that or heard that somewhere. I saw that somewhere. Oh, wasn't he on Dr. Phil? He was. Let's look at this fucking loser. Dr. Phil, Batman mask. Hey, look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. Definitely looks like a guy who would do such things. Now, I get it, though. But, man, when no one's looking, you got to take that thing off and wash it. Like, I wear a Batman mask for, like, 10 minutes, and I want to go, like, spread bleach on it. I can just feel the bacteria eating away at my face. But good for him, though. He deserved everything that happened to him. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... thanks for the question. Clark1140 says, would you rather vacation abroad on a plane with the Pigeon Lady or watch Point Break remake in IMAX with Pigeon Lady, Lights, Camera Jackson, and Tiny Todd? What kind of question is that? I'd rather be on the plane and it crash into the side of the mountain, I guess. I don't know. Probably just watch the shitty Point Break remake in an IMAX theater. At least I can sit there reclining with popcorn and drinks, and then when I'm done, I'll dump them on Lights, Camera Jackson's head. Well, I don't know. I just didn't understand the movie. I'm a stupid little kid, and my dad's a producer. That's why I'm on the news every morning. Do you guys remember Lights, Camera Jackson? No? Okay. Let's not even talk about him anymore. I don't want to talk about it. He was a no-talent nobody. And if he's watching right now, I hope you're in a lot of agonizing pain, you no-talent piece of shit. Let's go to the next question. I'm just kidding. He's probably a really nice guy. Okay, Skylar Wheelock, 8477 says, how old were you when you found out that the first SpongeBob movie is an adaptation of the Odyssey? I don't think I've watched any SpongeBob movies. I occasionally watch the show, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched a SpongeBob movie. I'm sorry. I just never did. I just haven't. I'm sorry. But nevertheless, that is an interesting take, and thank you for the question. There you go. There's a party popper. I like SpongeBob. I just never got into the movies of SpongeBob. Like, give me a 22-minute episode, I will watch it. We've talked about the Bird Lady significantly tonight. And I thank all of you guys for connecting me with the Bird Lady. I do. We've talked about her quite a bit. All right. Sal5227 says, Troy or the Odyssey? Listen, I think most people might say the Odyssey's the better movie, but Troy for me is the more enjoyable cinematic experience. Like, the Odyssey was awesome to watch once in the theater, but Troy is something I can pop on 4K once a year and go back and revisit it. I love the story. I love how it's sort of like a grounded take on everything. I think it's phenomenal. And the fighting and choreography in Troy far surpasses anything Nolan did in the Odyssey. Just putting it out there. The sword fighting, Eric Bana's fight sequence with Achilles in that movie, played by Brad Pitt. Top tier, man, from start to finish. Great score. The visuals look good. It's a great epic. So I'm gonna go. I prefer Troy. I'm just putting it. I'm gonna be honest. I'll keep it real with you. I would rather watch Troy than the Odyssey. That's more my vibe when it comes to films. Plus Helena Troy. In Troy, you know. Heidi Kruger looks good. All right. Did you know she got implants specifically for that role? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, good for her. Robert Echo Boy. How's it going, Robert Echo Boy? Once again, who says, met a super mom. She wasn't sure about the thing I hit her with a friend is a gift you give yourself. She is speechless. Nightcrawler is perfect. Okay, I think I just had an aneurysm trying to read that. But anyway, a gift is a friend that you give yourself. And the name of the company is Video Production News, a professional news gathering service. That is how it should be read, and that is how it should be said. Nightcrawler is one of the best movies ever made, and that's why it's up there on my shelf, up there. But on the camera, there it is. It's right there. Boop. I got it on 4K back there too. But thank you for the comment, man. Oh, Diane Kruger, not Heidi Kruger. Sorry. Half naked Brad Pitt or John's vibes. Yeah, they are. What's it to you, man? If you can't look at a bronze goddess of a man with amazing ab definition, what else can you look at? Okay. Let's go to the next one here. And thanks for the question. Thanks for the question. A party popper is a gift I give you. There you go. All right. The next one comes from Elliot Cecil 6660, who says, Soul Odyssey, it wasn't as epic as I thought, and I just felt like a series of vignettes with no substance in between. And, I don't disagree with you completely. It does feel like there's a series of sequences in that film where, like, nothing really happens. And I said the same thing. And I get that it's based on the poem and those things happen in the poem, but ultimately there's a couple scenes in that movie where you could just cut them out of it and it would not matter whatsoever. Like the scene where, this scene right here, Odyssey fighting giants. Okay. Yeah, this scene right here. Like, this happens for 5 minutes, and it's there, and it doesn't matter. There you go. I agree with you on that. Dustin Rich says, I got implants just for this. I got implants just for this live show. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. How about a little bit later you send me a picture of those bad boys? I'm just kidding. Don't be weird, man. Come on. All right, let's go to the next one here. And thank you for the question or statement, Elliot Cecil. I do agree with you. Kevy Rez says Dean Ambrose should play Freddy Krueger. Man, I don't even like to watch that guy a wrestler. And then I'm going to cut your head off with a razor blade. I just can't. I cannot stand to listen to him. John Moxley or whatever his name is now. All right. We're talking about pro wrestling. Anyway, Cleveland Neanderthal says, which casting choice would be worse between Sylvester Stallone as Forrest Gump or Steve Carell as Batman? I want to hear your final flicking thoughts. That's a great thought-provoking question, and I think we need to give that some real deep thought. Very profound, if you will. Hey, I'll know. Life's like a box of chocolates, I'll know. And then you got Steve Carell. I'm Batman. Hi, I'm Batman. All autistic-y like. You know what? I'm going to take Stallone as Forrest Gump. I'm going to take Stallone. Hey, I'll know if I think really hard about it. I can remember my very first pair of shoes. Something like that. That could work. So anyway, thanks for the question, man. I think Stallone as Forrest Gump's the way to go. Some kind of fruit company. You ever been to Bayou La Battery? Ingrid Plaza 2867 says, you and Dan Merle are my two favorite movie YouTubers. You are the funniest / most self-deprecating. Well, thank you. But I'm slightly funny with a better haircut. Well, thank you. I'll take the compliment. I think we're very different, though. Very different. Dan Merle's a great guy, man. I occasionally watch his stuff from time to time. I met Dan Merle multiple times. Super nice guy, so I'll take the compliment. Thank you so much. I have one party popper left, and it's going to go to you. So thank you for that. And I got a little party popper on the camera lens there. I'm just kidding. All right. Let's go to the next one here. But thank you, Ingrid. Thank you so much for those compliments. It does make me feel better about myself. Why are you so good to me? Limp Cinema Dreams says, how many predators could you and your friends catch? Well, it really depends, you know? Really depends. When it comes to those videos, that's like one of my favorite go-to videos when it comes to like social media. When guys are catching predators, something about those videos are so addicting to me. I watch them all the time. But Chris Hansen's, the upcoming Robert Pattinson movie, I'm looking forward to that. Why don't you have a seat? Am I under arrest? Well, that's up to you. But first, let's have a conversation. You came here to meet a 14-year-old. Yeah, but I just wanted to be friends with her. You brought condoms and a large cheese pizza. It's just like, what was the question again? I'm sorry. I think we should just move on immediately. Side Mike says, love you, John. Favorite rock album of all time? Ooh. I don't know. How about Limp Bizkit and the chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water? I'm just kidding. But hey, I remember buying that shit and listening to it on repeat. That's some good stuff. Occasionally, I do find myself listening to a little Bizkit every once in a while. It takes me back to the good old days. I don't know. Maybe like the Black Album by Metallica, or maybe I like Master of Puppets, but the Black Album might have better hits on it from Metallica. I'm trying to think of like another album. When you think of like I'm trying to think of an album that has nothing but great hits on it. I'm sure there's like 1,000 other ones I'm not thinking of. I don't know. I love music, but I'm not as knowledgeable about names, years, albums as I am movies, by any means. Yeah, like AC/DC, like whatever. What's the one? Thunder something. I like it. I just don't know the albums. Someone said Hybrid Theory. Linkin Park, yeah, that was good. I bought that. I like Green Day. Creed, I used to be into Creed a little bit, just slightly. I like some of their stuff. Nickelback, I don't give a shit what anyone says. Nickelback has some catchy tunes. If it ain't cool to listen to Nickelback, then I guess I ain't cool. Thunderstruck, yeah, sorry. I had a brain fart. Okay. Let's go to the next one here, and thanks for the question, man. Caleb, how's it going? Caleb, who says, John, I just saw the Odyssey and holy shit, I love it more than I thought I would. Elliot's line delivery took me out of the scene when she talked. I don't disagree with you. Yeah, that you can just tell that's a testosterone voice. Anyway, the symbolism in it is everywhere. You rock. Yeah, man. Hey, completely agree with you. There's a few little small nitpicks I have with the movie. But the Odyssey is definitely an immersive experience. It feels like a real movie. And like I said, for the 10th time tonight, watch it at least once on the biggest screen you can. You might have a few criticisms, but man, it's a good time. I mean, it's the best movie out right now. Can we all agree on that? Papa Roach, I like me some Papa Roach. This is my last resort. Suffocation. No breathing. That's the kind of music you listen to when your mom yells at you and says you can't go out tonight with your friends. Then you stomp up in your room and listen to Papa Roach. Logo Face says there's a Nickelback documentary on Netflix. Highly recommend. I actually might watch that shit. Talking about the downfall of Nickelback and how just like one meme ruined their entire career. That must suck. Just change your name. Okay. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... Daddy. Okay, here we go. Joey DW says... And by the way, guys, I'm out of party poppers. I'm sorry. I went through like 10 bags of party poppers in 2 live shows. So I need to go to Walmart and buy more. But the unfortunate thing is, I try not to go to Walmart if I can. Like I try to get in and out real quick. You don't want to make eye contact with anyone. You don't want to get too close. Somebody might sneeze on you. You just got to move in and out real quick. So I try to be really strategic about when I go to Walmart. So I need to go back and get some more party poppers. Anyway, here's the question. Joey DW says, John, I've been watching you since high school, and now I'm staring down the barrel of 30. What life advice would you give to a younger, slightly more attractive Australian version of yourself? Well, you might be younger, but I think that being more attractive thing might be slightly subjective. My best life advice to you is you live in Australia, so I don't know how much credit scores affect you, but my best life advice is if you're young, mobile, you have your whole life ahead of you. In your 30s, it's time to take a few chances, but establish yourself. So what I mean by that is anything you want to do, now's the time to do it. Go do it, man. Who gives a shit how much it costs? Go do it. It doesn't matter. Money comes and goes. Put it on a credit card, pay it off later. And then when you're done going into debt, doing all the fun shit you want to do, that way you don't regret it later when you're 55 years old laying in bed with a bad back, then you can say to yourself, I did it. But then in your early to mid 30s, you need to establish yourself, okay, after you're done having some fun. Invest in real estate, build up your credit, invest in the stock market. Now's the time to do that. I know that sounds really boring and cliche, but I cannot recommend it enough. And then by the time you're in your 40s, you're going to be somewhat established. But man, my best advice is whatever you want to do it today. And you can always regret it tomorrow. That's my advice to you. All right. I would say invest in like Bitcoin or something, but it's already too late. We missed the boat on that. I wish somebody would have told me that 10 years ago. Don't go into debt. Oh, no. Save up all your nickels and dimes. That way you can go on vacation in 7 years. Fucking who cares? It's all made up. Supposedly, Artemis is an asteroid that's going to hit Earth in like 5 years anyway, and we're all going to die. Who cares? You can always fix your credit score, but you cannot make new memories. Okay? That's my motto. John is doing what he preaches. Absolutely. I did everything I'm saying I did. I'm just telling I did it all. Okay, and now I'm getting in closer to my 40s, and now I'm establishing myself. I'm settling down. I got married, bought a house. I got a normal job now. I'm still doing YouTube, but I'm telling you, it worked out. All right, man, but thank you so much. But I'm definitely better looking. All right. Steven 004 says, Hey, John. I've been watching you since John, I've been watching you since 2013. You are my OG YouTuber. Man, thank you so much for that. It's kind of weird. Like, I love hearing that kind of stuff, man. Like, I've been watching you since I was a fetus, and I remember the day I was shot out of my dad's dick. You were the first YouTube video I watched, and I really enjoy hearing things like that. Thank you so much. But let's continue on with the question. My question. What type of movie/genre would you want Nolan to do next? That's a great question, Steven. Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I said I think Nolan, because he gave little vibes of like a horror vibe in the Odyssey, I think Nolan should do a horror movie, a simplistic horror movie that costs $50 million or something, and make it a time period movie. I think that would be like the best route for Nolan. I could see Nolan directing a 17th century medieval horror movie or something cool like that. That'd be the movie I'd like to watch. Wing 44 says, invest in Blu-rays. Yes, invest in Blu-rays. There's nothing that depreciates quicker than physical media. Actually, the truth is, here's the truth about physical media. A lot of these new titles coming out on 4K, these limited releases, these are actually like good investments. A lot of the shit I bought on Steelbook has significantly went up in price on eBay. Logo Face says Nolan could do a great vampire movie. Yeah, he could do a vampire movie. That'd be okay. That'd be cool. I could see that. I just want like a medieval vampire movie. I don't know why. I want to see knights and the Black Plague and vampires. I combine all that shit in a movie. I want to watch that. John, I've been watching you since I was a sperm. Thank you for all your impersonations. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. 30 feels young to me now. I'm 35 and I feel too old. So I have to force myself to believe that age is just a number. So who cares? Your vibe defines how old you seem. Yeah, man, it really does. Sometimes I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'll be 40 in a year. And they're like, no, you're lying to me. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I think right now with the way like society acts, like by the time we get to 60, we won't act like 60-year-olds. We'll finally start acting like adults in our 30s. So it's going to be a weird conundrum that we're in. Give it a couple decades. It's weird. And people look younger now. Vampires in medieval Japan. Sold. Give me that shit right now. All right. Predominator 8157 says, tomorrow is the 40th anniversary of Aliens 1986 movie. I'm surprised Regal and AMC are not doing a re-release like T2 upcoming 35th anniversary re-release. Oh, dude, it feels like every classic action movie is having like their anniversary right now. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think Terminator is just the more popular movie. I really do. And it's also like, but Aliens definitely does feel like a summer action movie you'd want to watch. Yeah, I don't know why, man. I don't know. I definitely prefer Terminator 2 Judgment Day over Aliens. I like me Aliens. Get away from her, you bitch. But anyway, yeah, that is odd. I'm surprised they're not doing something for it. Are you guys going to go see Terminator 2 Judgment Day in the theater? Let me know down below. I've seen the movie a billion times. I own it on 4K. The 4K looks like dog shit, so I'd rather watch the Blu-ray. I think it's like the best action movie ever made. Like if they were playing Terminator 2 on IMAX, I'd probably go see it. But just to go watch it in a normal theater, I don't know. I don't know if I need to do that. But thanks for the question, man. Skylar111 says, rip to the Pigeon Lady in a $50 million budget film. Who should be cast as the new Pigeon Lady in your Pigeon Lady origin story film? Okay. Can we make Scarlett Johansson as the new Pigeon Lady? Now listen. This is a story about a homeless lady with a heart of gold, right? So what happens is, a guy like Patrick Bateman, he's walking through Central Park and he sees this homeless lady who looks like the Pigeon Lady, but he looks at her and he knows once he cleans the shit off of her, She's going to be a shining example of perfection. You just got to clean her up. Got to take her home, put her in the bathtub, give her a nice Chardonnay with a bath towel, and have her come out and meet your friends. And then you make a home video with a VHS camera. And, you know, what am I saying right now? So that'd be something like that. I think we go that route. Now, does she get killed with a chainsaw at some point in the movie? That's questionable. I'm not quite sure. But let's do that. Can we never talk about this again? Can we move on immediately? Anna de Armas as the Pigeon Lady. Ooh, that's a good one. Living in the streets of South America, covered in bird shit. Okay. We can make Pierce Morgan the Pigeon Lady. I mean, he already looks like her. Skylar Wheelock says, tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park 3. Think I'll watch it in honor of Sam Neill. Well, watch a good Jurassic Park movie. Don't watch the shitty one. I'm going to watch Event Horizon maybe later tonight in memory of Sam Neill. That's what I'm going to do. I have not seen Event Horizon since it came out on VHS at Blockbuster. So what was that, 97, 98? Papa's Hong 4958 says it would be Pretty Woman version of the Pigeon Lady. You got it, man. Exactly. That's what I want to make. That's exactly the movie I want to make. You nailed it right there. But with a little more blood, guts, and gore. Bella Ramsey is the Pigeon Lady. Done. Sold. I could make it for $5 million. Okay. A glitch in the code says, your rant on the airport from a few live shows ago was legendary. Are there any other everyday tasks that you think are just as annoying as the airport? Oh, you're talking to a guy that has zero tolerance for the incompetence of society. The way I look at people, they're just all sheep standing around waiting to get slaughtered. And I'll elaborate on what I'm talking about after I take a sip of this delicious hydrating beverage. Every day when I get behind the wheel of my car, I back out of my driveway and I just know when I get to the edge of my neighborhood, there's going to be someone who stops at the stop sign and waits way too long to make a right-hand turn. Literally, there's people that will not take a right-hand turn from a stop sign unless there's at least a car 7 miles away. If it's any closer in proximity than that, they will not turn out into traffic or into the road to leave. And then you get into traffic. God forbid you pull up to a red light. And there's people that have nowhere to be, nothing to do. And I question, who are these people? Why are they behind the wheel of a car? Because clearly they're not trying to get anywhere. I don't know about you, but I like to get from point A to point B as quickly as I possibly can. I will weave in and out of traffic. I will fly through traffic. But I do it in a way that's almost like precision driving. I listen to like a Hans Zimmer score when I drive. I go with the flow. I don't stop. I keep up with traffic or I surpass it. Okay? But yet, there's people at red lights or stop signs that they just forget that they're in a car. Like they just had an aneurysm. They don't know where they're at. They don't even know like you should go when there's a green light. So they just sit there. I don't know what to do. It's a fucking green light. Go! And nothing. There's a part of me that really wishes that we lived in the post-apocalyptic wastelands of something like Mad Max Fury Road, where I could be Lord Humongous. I wear leather underwear and a hockey mask, and I cover myself in baby oil. And I rule the wastelands. And I tie people to my car, and if you're in my way, I just drive over you. I drive over you, I slaughter you and your family, and I take your gasoline, and I keep on going down the highway wasteland, okay? Leave the fuel, and I will spare your lives. But beyond all of that, then you get on the highway, okay? And I don't know about you, but I was always taught the left lane is the passing lane. If you're not going faster than someone behind you or in front of you, you get over, right? So if you're passing people, and I'm not talking about going a couple miles per hour over the speed limit. I'm talking about felony degree speeding. I'm talking about going 25 minimum over the speed limit in the passing lane, okay? Because if you're in the passing lane, that's what you should be doing. You're passing. And if there's somebody behind you, they're they're faster than you. Get over. You've been cucked out. Get over. But there's people that get in that passing lane and they really think they're doing something. The speed limit's 75. They're doing 76. Oh, no. Or sometimes they go under the speed limit. Nothing drives me crazier than that, man. Oh, God. I just imagine rear-ending them going 100 miles per hour and their head going through the windshield across the median into a semi-truck and they splatter like a bug. So, yeah, I guess there's a few things that get under my skin when it comes to everyday tasks. And traffic's one of them. I just can't stand slow or stupid people. Stay home. I got somewhere to be. Okay, let's go to the next question. And the next one comes from, I hate when people take their sweet ass time at the cash registers. It's like, I want to buy my shit and keep going. Oh, dude, when I go to the cash register, I run up there, I throw all the shit on the thing. I'm like, okay, I got my card out already. I have it just teeter-tottering on the insert to pay for it. I'm like, yep. Receipt? No, I don't need that shit. Bye. I don't even bag it. Give it to me. I'll run out of the door. I'm not taking one extra second. And if I do self-checkout, you should see me at the self-checkout, man. I just scan shit. So I don't even know if it's getting scanned half the time, but that's not my fault. I'm not a paid or trained cashier, but I will scan things as quickly as I can and throw them in the bag. Whatever happens, happens. It's not my fault. I agree with you. Skylar Wheelock says, if they made a reboot of the 1990 TMNT live action film, would you go to the movie theater to see it? If it was good. If it was good, I would. If it was better than the one starring Megan Fox, produced by Michael Bay, I definitely would. Logo Face says, I hate when people smell horrible in public. That's when you just... Never mind. Dustin Rich says, what's the worst thing you've ever done to someone's food as a pizza delivery driver? I've never messed with people's food. I will say that. Never once. Now listen, if I'm trying to think. Okay, I did do something. It was an accident though. There was a pizza that we had to it was the last delivery of the night. And I had this pizza under like 7 other pizzas in my car. And by the time I got to their house, this pizza was crushed to shit. I mean, it was splattered. It looked like you dropped it off a 47-story building. And I remember opening the box right before I delivered it and like going, oh no. And I remember like tapping the box to kind of like make some of the ingredients fall down a little bit. And I delivered that shit. I'm sorry. Maybe that. Now, I remember one time though, I was delivering pizzas. And it was the middle of winter. It was a blizzard out. There was like 3 feet of snow. And some guy who lived on the furthest possible address that we delivered to from where our Papa John's was, he ordered a pizza at like, we closed at 11. He ordered the pizza at like 10:57. I'm like, okay, all right. So I drive all the way out there through this blizzard-like weather. And I walk down his driveway, which wasn't plowed. So my car is barely getting through his driveway. I'm walking through 3 feet of snow up to his door. Hand him his pizza. I get it there in like 15 minutes, man. Here's your pizza. It's hot. It's steamy. It's ready to go. It looks delicious. And he just says, oh, thanks. Closes the door. No tip. No tip whatsoever. And he had in his front yard, he had like one of those, charcoal grills that you could cook on, setting in his front yard by his sidewalk. I remember just kicking that. I scissor kicked that shit like Chuck Norris. Black coal flew all over this white snow. I got in my car and left. And I was like, if he says anything, I'll just say the wind blew it over. And guess what? He never called. So anyway, maybe he assumed the wind did blow it over. So anyway, that's a pizza story for you. Fuck that guy. I hope he's listening right now. Hope you choked on your pizza. Corey Feldman as Freddy Krueger. Absolutely. Hey, you guys, it's Freddy Krueger. I'll take Corey Feldman as Freddy Krueger. Kind of looks like Freddy Krueger now. Papa Shong 4958 says, John, did you get my super chat from before? I'm trying to read through them. I haven't finished yet. I see one up here, maybe. So hold on a little bit. If I missed it, please let me know. Okay. The next one comes from Siobhan Desai 2402. Or Shavam. I can't read. Shavam. Is it Desai? Am I saying that right? I feel like I'm saying that right. All right, Shavam Desai 2402. Thank you for the glorious super chat. Here it goes. Let's read your question. Sucks that Illinois has only one IMAX 70mm theater. Could only get the 7:30 a.m. show for the 1st of August. One question, John. How do you decide whether to go get the 4K or the Blu-ray version of any movie? Well, that's a great question. But at least Chicago has a 70mm IMAX theater. Most states don't have that shit. I live in Indiana. We have one. It's 2 hours away. That's where I saw Odyssey. And thank God I got early press tickets to go see it, or else this was sold out for like 3 weeks, and tickets were selling on eBay for like $200. So anyway, so at least you have an IMAX theater, but yeah, I guess you're going to have to wake up early and go see it. So maybe get some Starbucks on the way. And you still have to wait 2 more weeks to see it. Jeez, man. Whew. It'll be worth it, though. It's definitely worth the IMAX experience. So when it comes to buying anything physical media now, if it's a movie I really want and the 4K exists, I will get the 4K. I will always get the 4K if the 4K exists. If it's a movie that only exists on Blu-ray, then I will buy the Blu-ray. But I always go for the 4K. If I'm willing to buy the movie and I'm going to buy the physical copy and put it on my shelf, I'm buying the 4K. All right, we've been talking for 3 hours. Okay, we still have a lot of questions, so here it goes. And thank you for that question. And good luck with your screening of the Odyssey at 7:30 in 2 weeks. Eric Boschan says, John, how can I send you the Australian anniversary Blu-ray of Nightcrawler? It comes with a replica script, which you could read to us before bedtime. What? Huh, that's awesome. You don't have to send me anything, man. I don't want you to have to send me anything. But if you want to and you really feel compelled to, send me a DM on X or something. Follow me on X and send me a DM, man. But you don't, I mean this when I say you do not have to. But it is Nightcrawler, and if it does come with a script, that's pretty sexy. I don't think I can say no to that. Okay. Papa Shong has become a member. Yay, Papa Shong. You've been here all night, man. So thank you so much for becoming a member. Feel free to keep commenting. I did not see... You said you left a super chat earlier. I don't see it, man. Dustin Rich says, your live shows should never start before 10 p.m. Look what you did, you little jerk. It's a weird phenomenon, man. I did a late night live show last week at like 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. And it did pretty well. You guys are vampires. I don't know if just my UK audience is watching or all of you don't have anything to do the next day or like, I'll just stay up all night watching some guy ramble on about movies. But yeah, it's kind of weird. The algorithm tells me to do live shows earlier, but I'm thinking to myself, I don't think anybody's going to watch them. Like, I would like to try to do a live show at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I feel like 3 people would watch it. So, I don't know. What is the best time to do a live show for you guys? If you could pick any time for me to do these live shows, which day and which time would work best for you? I usually do them on Friday. The work week is over. I'm feeling a little bit energetic. I miss you guys. There's new movies to talk about. It feels like Fridays are a good time, or maybe Sundays. Shavam says I said it correct. Well, thank you. I tried my hardest. Papa Shong says, I got the 70 millimeter film, but not the IMAX showing on Sunday. Can't wait. Well, hey, either way, man, it'll be a good time. Just get some popcorn. Late. It's 5 a.m. in the UK. Well, good morning to you, man. 7 p.m., 8 p.m., weekends, midnight. So pretty much just any time, right? We're never going to conclusively agree on a time. Okay, the next one comes from Jason Nilsson, 5251, who says, The Odyssey is a 4 out of 10, boring, drab dialogue, poor casting. I do agree there's a few casting choices that aren't the best casting choices. I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's drab. I think it's definitely an epic. I don't think it's perfect though. Like this is not like an A+ movie to me, but I think it's like a spectacle within itself. I definitely think it somewhat lives up to the hype. Like I've said it before, it's worth seeing at least once. I enjoyed the experience. But only time will tell. Sal 5250 or Sal 5227 says, what movie excited you and everyone the most, only to be left disappointed in the end? Dude, I don't think there was, and I'm sure there's better examples of this. Oh God, I was just thinking of a sequel today that sucked balls. What was that? Oh, okay. Well, there's a multitude. But I'll tell you the one for me, and thinking back on it, how cool it could have been and how much I wanted it to be better than it was. Like, there's no movie I talked about more on YouTube before it came out, before it's released, than Batman v Superman. And I wanted that movie to be great. And what we got was like kind of a mess and a little bit underwhelming with some cool stuff in it. And the more I've thought about it over the years, the less I like the movie. And you go back and watch some of the scenes in Batman v Superman, like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne working out, lifting weights. A couple of the action scenes are kind of cool. You got Henry Cavill, you had Ben Affleck. There were some good ideas, but they just could not bring that shit together. And then you put Jesse Eisenberg in there putting little Jolly Ranchers in people's mouths, and you go, why did you do this? So I don't know, maybe that. Yeah, the newest Matrix movie. I did a review for the new Matrix movie when it came out 4 or 5 years ago. Matrix, Lose Your Erection or whatever you want to call it. Just terrible. Okay, the next one comes from Roger something, who says, John, did you hear about Lord Humongous died? Yeah, the actor who played Lord Humongous in Mad Max Road Warrior passed away. And rest in peace, Lord Humongous. I love me some Lord Humongous, man. Can we just all look at Lord Humongous for 1 second? Oh God, this is glorious. Look at that right there. That's a man. That is me. That's how I envision myself every day in traffic. Right there. Just leather panties on, baby oil, all muscle bound, wearing a hockey mask, like 3 little pieces of hair on top of my head. And Lord Humongous was reasonable. He was reasonable. Leave the fuel. I'll spare your lives. That's fair. Okay. But thanks for the question, man. T-Mans4 says, is Iron Man a top 10 MCU movie? It's still my favorite. I think it's definitely one of the best standalone MCU movies. I mean, that's the one that set the tone. If that movie sucked, the MCU never would have achieved what it did. And now Iron Man 2 and 3 suck. I'm sorry. I don't like those movies. But the first Iron Man was phenomenal. I loved it. So is it in the top 10? Yeah, I would say it's in the top 10. It's definitely like a pivotal part of the MCU. Off the top of my head, I'd put it in I could see it in the top 10. There's only 48 movies to pick from. But another movie that I think's completely underrated in the MCU is Captain America: The First Avenger. I think that is such an underrated MCU movie, and I think it's better than half the other MCU movies, and it's definitely one of the better standalone movies. The cast in that movie is phenomenal. I love when you have scrawny little Steve Rogers looking all emaciated. Anyway, he looks scrawny as shit. And I love that. And then he takes the super soldier serum and he's running around, man. That's good stuff. And he's fighting Red Skull. I think that's such an underrated MCU movie. The score is really good. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that movie made me start working out too. Okay, Joker Face 501. How's it going, buddy? John, I find it funny that people don't mention this. Thomas Jane as the Punisher watches his family die and then kills his family in the mist. Film. Laugh out loud. You're right. You are right about that. But I will say, the Punisher 2004 movie, I think that's a good time. That's underrated. Now, it's not great. It's entertaining. It's definitely worth, watching with a frozen pizza. But John Travolta in that movie, the way he dies in The Punisher, when the Punisher ties him to the back of a car and he's being dragged behind the car into like blowing up vehicles. By the way, when you watch that scene, they basically went to a junkyard, bought a whole bunch of like old cars and blew them up. And it's like, why is every car in this parking lot a piece of shit? Because they're cheaper. Anyway, when he's being dragged behind that car, going, ah, ah, ah. I love it, man. I like The Punisher with Thomas Jane. I'm going to rewind it back to the beginning. Goodbye, y'all. Well, you got 3 hours, so good luck, man. Or you can just watch live. John, the first Thor is the best Thor and top 10 MCU movie. I don't like the first Thor that much. I think it's okay. I think it's a good origin story. There's things I like about it quite a bit, like Natalie Portman in the movie, but it had all those shitty Dutch angles where they turn the camera sideways. I think the best Thor movie, or at least the most enjoyable one, is like Thor Ragnarok. I still enjoy that. But I'm hoping that they make a cool epic Thor movie at some point, like a dark fantasy Thor movie. I think that'd be awesome. Avocado Balls Johnson, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming back once again. Here it goes. OG 1930s bat suit with curved bat ears, Dracula cape, and purple gloves are Lee Bermejo. I'm probably saying this wrong. Lee Bermejo's bat suit for a live action adaptation. Lee Bermejo? Let me look this bat suit up. Oh, this one? Okay. Is this the bat suit you're kind of talking about? Let's find an illustrated. Yeah, baby. Ooh. Now that's my kind of shit right there. Now, if you're going to make a new Batman movie, yep, that's kind of the look I'd be okay with. Has a little bit of tactileness to it, but it looks flexible and pliable. Yep, you got the utility belt on there. Yep. That right there is Batman. That is Batman. No blue underwear. He's got the pants on. That's what I like. If I was Batman, that's the kind of shit I'd wear. That right there. Yep, that's what I like. That looks like a tactical Batman. That looks like a grizzled Batman. That is perfection. That's what I want. Yes, please. Look at that. Ooh. All right. Yep. I think that's a good look for Batman. That's what I would go with. What do you guys think? Tiny Todd is Chucky. Tiny Todd was worse than Chucky. Chucky was like a Teletubby compared to Tiny Todd. If you knew the things he did to me when I slept. Gilliam LaBelle, who says, not excited for the Brave and the Bold if it ever happens. I won't be that excited if James Gunn's in charge of it, I'll tell you that. Plus the guy who directed The Flash directing it, no. That's not the right tone. Logo Face says, what's the Stuckman basement story? Which one, man? Here it is. I see the question up here. I'm getting to it. How do I have this many questions left? Okay, I'm not complaining. Oh my God, we have so many questions left. Okay, here we go. Stuckman's Hot Bottom. Hi, John. Why did you and each of your exes break up? I guess after 2 years, you sort of just realize if you're compatible or not. Really, that's the thing. You know, at certain times in life, we wanted different things. And you kind of figure out, well, this isn't going to work long term. And I've just never been one of those people that I'm pretty good at predicting things and knowing what works and what doesn't. And if it's not going to work, it's not going to work, you know. And sometimes it's mutual, sometimes it's not. And I think that's really just what it came down to. You know, at certain points in my life, those things made sense, and then they just no longer made sense. And sometimes there's circumstances that, you know, get in the way, but ultimately it was for the best. I ended up where I should be. So I don't really have any regrets. You know, it was all a learning experience along the way. So I hope that was a fulfilling answer. Murph MM says, Lights Camera Jackson still posts consistently with interviews with actors and directors, yet hardly gets any views. And yet, the reason is because he never had talent. All right. But good for him. He's doing what he likes. Papa Shong, 4958. How's it going, man? Hey, John. I saw on X you said Austin Burke and the other critics were being attacked for liking the Odyssey. What do you think of the woke mob BS? I never said that. I mean, dude, listen, when I made the review, people were like, how much did you get paid? And it's just like, keep in mind, this is before anyone saw the movie. People commenting made these comments before they saw the movie, and they were so misinformed. And I think had anyone with these criticisms saw the movie, you'd be like, oh yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And also, there's so much to enjoy about the movie, it doesn't really overshadow those things you might have critiques with. It's just the internet. I think that's where, basically, if you like something, you're a shill and you're paid. And if you dislike it, you're a transphobic racist. And it's just like, where do you fit in between those things? You know, that's the question you have to ask yourself. And I ask myself that every day. And I like to say I'm right in the middle. I don't know, man. I don't care what the internet says. I just don't care. Like, you know who I care about on the internet? It's you guys watching right now. These are the opinions that matter. I'm interacting with you. We're having a conversation. So, I don't know. It's been that way all the time, but it's gotten worse. It's almost gotten to the point where it's like, it's not human anymore. And people are so tribal with their thoughts that they will literally jump on a bandwagon and be completely misinformed and misguided, which is by definition ignorance, to like state an opinion that's just not even true. Or does it have any relevancy? So I don't know. Fuck them. I don't know. Who cares? It's the internet. Whatever happens today will not be remembered tomorrow. And by next week, it's like it never even happened. That's the way I look at it. But the craziest thing is, now that the movie has come out, and the Odyssey is a great example of this, everyone got pissed at anyone who liked the movie. And now that the movie's been released to the public, and the public's saying, yeah, it's a good movie, and all the ratings are at the skyrocketing. What's it at on Rotten Tomatoes? What's this movie at on Rotten Tomatoes? Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, when you have a Rotten Tomatoes score like that right there, I mean, listen, you can say critics are all pretentious or whatever, and 342 of them have left their reviews as a 95%, but then you have 2,500 verified general audience scores at a 97%. It's even higher than the critics. Is that not indicative of like a good movie? Has the point been proven here? Have these people been put to rest yet? By all means, if those criticisms had ruined this movie, I would be right there with you. I would be the first one, but they didn't. So, you should take new facts and utilize that to form a new opinion. I don't know. Skylar Wheelock says, happy 59th birthday to Vin Diesel. Well, happy birthday, Vin Diesel family. Aaron Bezewick says, John, I've watched you for 14 years now and just enjoy lurking in the lives. I finally became a member, figured I'd participate. Ha ha ha. Love you from Australia. Well, thanks, Aaron, man. And thanks for watching in the dark recesses and the shadows like a creepy bastard. But thank you for coming into the limelight so I can see your beautiful face. And you will ride in Elysium with me one day. But thanks for that, man. And make sure you stick around. Uranium Cranium says, John, don't try to fit in. It usually isn't worth it. Do I seem like a guy who's ever tried to fit in? No. I'm a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do with it once I caught it. Who cares about Rotten Tomatoes? I'm just giving you some insights. There's no room to... Yeah, when nuance dies, that's when the public IQ starts to die. You can't love and hate everything. Some things are just good or okay. And that's okay. But that doesn't get clicks or views or attention. You have to hate it or you have to love it. You can't just say, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's keep going here. Stuckman's Hot Bottom back again. Thoughts on King of the Hill revival and lawn mowing? Oh, I love me some lawn mowing, but it's been 90 plus degrees, so that shit sucks. But it is a time that I listen to podcasts, but it's too hot to enjoy it. And then you got to get off the riding lawnmower, then you got to edge the yard, then you got to weed whack it, then I pick all the weeds out of my yard. It's like a 3.5 hour process. But anyway, I didn't watch the King of the Hill revival series. I always liked King of the Hill. God damn it, Bobby. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I just didn't watch the revival episodes. At some point, maybe I'll get around to it. Just too much stuff to watch. How do you have time to watch anything? The Mike 2530 has become a member. Yay! Thanks, Mike. Thank you so much, man. I wish I had some party poppers for you guys, but I'm all out. Papa Shong says, I love you, John. I've been watching since 2017. Well, it's 9 years. Let's make it 10. Don't you go anywhere. Don't you go dine on me now. But yeah, thanks, guys. It does mean a lot, man. Nothing makes me feel better about myself than when you guys tell me shit like that. So keep it coming. All right. Gilliam LaBelle. Here it goes. Can you do a Morgan Freeman doing John Campea impression? The Odyssey was epic in IMAX. 70mm, my local IMAX just fixed the projector after a decade. Well, hey, I'm glad they fixed it just in time. It's definitely an epic movie to watch, man. It really is. Just the technical aspects of of the Odyssey it's mind blowing. It's beautiful to look at. Can I do a Morgan Freeman impression doing John Campea? Now, listen here, Sonny Jim, for our next main topic. Now, first let me preface with this. I don't know. That's all I got. It's hard to do that upbeat, high-pitched John Campea voice with Morgan Freeman. That's all I got, though, man. I'm sorry. Stuckman's Hot Bottom back again says, have you seen Cartnarks, Prison Break, or Entourage? I watched Entourage. I liked Entourage a lot. I liked when the one episode or multiple episodes where they focus around making an Aquaman movie directed by James Cameron. I thought that was pretty good. I loved Entourage. That was a great show. The movie that they based on kind of sucked. Or the movie that they made based on the series sucked. Prison Break, I never got into Prison Break. I always kind of wanted to, but never did. And Cartnarks, I don't know if I don't know what Cartnarks is, but if it's now when it comes to the one guy that used to go around on social media and yell at people that didn't put their shopping carts away, I enjoyed that, but I don't know what Cartnarks is. Maybe I do. I don't know. So I guess I haven't watched it. Okay, the next one comes from Jay Quails, 121, and how's it going, man? Thank you so much for the question tonight. What's up, John? Not sure if you've heard this before, but you look like River Phoenix. When I was younger, I looked a lot like a young River Phoenix, man. I even had kind of like more blondish, light brown hair. Anyway, just watched the movie Sneakers the other day, and every time he was on screen, I just saw the flick pic. Well, thanks for that. Let's look up River Phoenix and Sneakers. I have a theory about River Phoenix. Had he not passed away at a young age, I'm telling you right now, he would have been Leonardo DiCaprio. He would have been doing the movies that Leo's doing. I don't know. Does it kind of look like me, guys? I can see it. I see it right there. I'm picking it up a little bit, yeah. I've been told, at one point I was told I look kind of like Christian Slater too, so. But I'll take it, man. What's your rating for the Odyssey? I would give the Odyssey... yeah, like an A-. I give the Odyssey an A-. There you go. That's my rating for the Odyssey. John, you're my favorite YouTuber. I've been watching you since the dawn of man. Well, good. Thank you so much. John, you look like the guy from the opening of Scream 7. I've heard that too. You could pass for his brother. Logo Face says, back in 2015, you looked a lot like Biff Tannen. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Hey, butthead, make it like a tree and get out of here. Let's go to the next one here. 50 Doctor Podcast says, Johnny Beanflicker, did you ever go to the X-rated section of your local Blockbuster back in the day? Would always try to get a peek. I don't remember my local Blockbuster having an X-rated section. I didn't think Blockbuster did. Now, Family Video definitely did. They had a dedicated large section for any perverted weirdo who didn't have the internet. But also, there was a local video store I used to go to, and it was called, I have it in one of my old Flick Trip videos. Type in XXX Flick Trip video, you'll find it. And there was a huge, this thing was massive. You're talking like 40 rows of unadulterated content, and the way that you would enter in this little section of adult films, there was always a couple saloon doors. And I remember when I was a young kid, every time those saloon doors went back and forth, I'd go try to get a peep in there, like a young little pervert. John, you look like Scarlett Johansson. I used to look more like Scarlett Johansson when I was younger. I'll take the compliment, man. That's your problem, though. Logo Face says, John, have you ever had a really shitty neighbor? Oh, my neighbor right now is a crazy lady. She's literally schizophrenic. She lives across the street from me. She yells at traffic. She's always yelling at herself. She keeps her dog in the garage that's barking all the time. And when she comes home and parks her car, she literally backs it in. If she can't back it in just right, she goes around the block, comes back. I think she has a severe case of OCD. Anyway, I hope she's not listening right now because she'll probably break in my house and kill me in my sleep. But anyway, further... backing up the point is when she parks her car, she opens up the hood of her car every time she parks it in the driveway. Every time she comes home, she opens up the hood of her car to like let her car cool off. I think she has like severe anxiety or something. Like she thinks that's actually going to like preserve the engine or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. But that's my neighbor now. So yes, I have had some weird neighbors. John, I look like Aziz Ansari. That's funny. Me too, man. John, do you have edit phobia? What's edit phobia? Do I like editing? No, I do not. Do I like doing live streams more? Yes, I do. Tired Boy 8326. That might be my name. I'm getting tired. Tell us a harrowing Stuckman basement story. A harrowing basement Stuckman story? I don't know, man. I don't have anything. I mean, I really don't have much for you, man. I mean, we'd hang out and watch some movies every once in a while. I remember a few times he would show me and a group of people like anime movies. And I remember just like falling asleep a few times. I don't really have anything like that mind blowing to tell you, man. I don't know. Stuckman, every time he watched movies, he would like sit Indian style on the sofa. The guy likes to sit Indian style. There's that. I thought maybe that was enough. Did he ever try to cuddle? No, oddly enough. And the weird thing is no, and I wish he would have. I think it would have been good for him. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Andy Kumar 2817 says, I flew to Philly to see Shane Gillis live. Well, how was it? Was it worth the trip? Aaron Flickman has become a member. Thanks, Aaron Flickman. Yay! Well, chime in the normal chat, Eric Flickman. Dustin Rich says, kids of today have no idea what we had to go through to see naughty material back in the 80s and 90s. Oh man, there was nothing worse than having like some old stuck together magazine you and your friend shared for like 3 years that your older cousin gave you and you don't know where he got it from. Dude, like that stuff was like finding gold nuggets, man. Like you had a good adult magazine as a kid, or even a VHS tape was unheard of. But if you had a VHS tape back in 1996 that had like, you know what I'm talking about, you could trade that for anything. Oh, you got Mortal Kombat, the Ultimate Edition? Yeah, that's mine now. Here's the tape. And they would do it willingly. And then their parents find the tape, and then they make you undo the trade. I'm like, hey, no refunds. Sorry. Billy M6487 says, write fiction, John. Unleash your fucked up ideas. Listen, man, I'll be honest with you. The truth is more scary than fiction. I'll tell you that right now. But what I would do is I would mask the truth with fiction. And then it's like, oh, that's crazy and weird. But really, it's just little versions of the truth blended in there. The names and locations have been changed. But yeah, I would like to write something one day. John would love Berserk 1997. Oh gosh, what is that? Sounds like some kind of German movie. I found adult magazines in my parents' bedroom. It was quite disturbing. Oh, that if that's all you found in your parents' bedroom, then you got off lucky, man. Tired. Oh, we already answered that. Tired Boy says, yeah, we already answered that. Billy M6046 says, careful here. Have you seen the trailer for Digger? I did watch part of the trailer for Digger. I still don't know what it's about. My buddy Chris actually went and saw like a special promo of the trailer and met Tom Cruise, which I'm sort of jealous of. I always wanted to meet Tom Cruise and just like tickle him and see if he laughs. Anyway, what am I talking about? Yeah, I don't know what the movie's about. It just feels like it feels like Tom Cruise just wants to do something weird and wacky and wear prosthetics and make some jokes. And I'm okay with that. But when the first trailer that came out for the movie Digger was literally 2 minutes of better Tom Cruise movies in the beginning of the trailer. And then it just cuts to the Digger and it's like, okay, I get what you're doing. You're selling me on the concept of like Tom Cruise. That's what this movie's basically. It should just be called Cruise. Because we still don't know technically what the movie's about other than maybe a guy saving a company or something. I don't know. I don't know if this movie, I don't know if it's going to be a massive failure or a massive success. I am curious to watch it. But I'm not as hyped as some people are. Tired Boy 8326 says, you remind me of a young Stephen Anthony Lawrence. Who is that? Why does he have so many names? Stephen Anthony Lawrence. No, man. In all fairness, I don't want to be... Listen. Brick. Can I be honest with you? Speaking of that, I'm keeping it real with you. I'm not talking shit. It always has reminded me of this. Doesn't this look like a little young John Campea? Like when John Campea was 10 years old, is that what he looked like? Right there. That's John Campea, man. Look. It's always reminded me of him. Just putting it out there. Anyway, speaking of that, that's what that reminded me of. But I'll take the compliment. Your compliment was sufficient, Lewis. Uranium Cranium says, Digger cruising with Cruise. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'll watch it when it comes out. I'm not super excited or anything. Papa Shong says, actually, my father had a paper bag full of adult VHS tapes. I remember putting one on called Ball Busters, and I had no clue what it was and saw two guys and a girl, and it was a cathartic experience. Well, yeah, I'd hope so. Sounds like a good time. I'm going to go Google that right after this live show. The Kid in the Middle. Yeah, man. Danny B94 says, what up, John? I watched American Psycho last night and was thinking of you during it. Don't make it weird. Well, thank you for that. That's the biggest compliment you can give me. Thank you so much. And don't just look at it, eat it. I'm going to call you Christy. All right, guys. On that note, I think I'm going to wrap up the live show. Well, we got a few questions. Okay, I'm going to answer just a few more questions and wrap up tonight's live show. Even though we have 243 of you beautiful people in here tonight. Yeah, I guess the later you go with the live show, the better. But here it goes. Tired Boy back again says, you remind me of a young... Oh, we already answered that. Thanks for that. Dezinker says... Dezinker4642 says, Nolan or Villeneuve... Have you seen Dune 3 trailer? I have seen the Dune 3 trailer. It looks epic. I'm looking forward to the movie. Can't wait to check it out. definitely. Now listen, I'll be honest with you. On opening day, if I have the choice to watch Doomsday or Dune 3, I'm probably watching Doomsday first, but I will immediately follow it up with Dune 3. Okay? Just putting it out there. But if I had to pick Villeneuve, man, he's made Sicario. He's made the Dune movies. I'm still going to go with Nolan. I'll tell you why. It comes down to this easy answer. Denis Villeneuve, like, I think I cannot wait to see what he does next and in the future. And I think, like, the sky's the limit to this guy and his talent and his potential. I love the way he makes his movies look. And I think him and Nolan share a little bit of the same kind of similarities, just ever so slightly. And as far as like from a technical standpoint, I love both of their movies, the way they film things and just the way they can take their time with filming different shots with the scope but I got to go with Nolan simply because he gave me the Dark Knight trilogy and it's as easy as that. I have to. How could I not? But if you're going to make a new Batman movie, I think Denis Villeneuve would be, I'd be okay with that. Stay up late, John. Dude, I've been up since 7 o'clock this morning. I didn't plan on talking for 3 hours and 40 minutes tonight. Nolan from 2000 to 2010 was peak. Yeah, it does feel like the majority of my favorite movies from him did come out in the first 10 years, so. We can do this all night. I cannot. My ass is getting numb and my tongue is getting numb. Plus, I'm getting really hungry. Oddly enough, sitting here talking for 3.5 hours, it does burn up a lot of calories. Maslin says, John, are you excited for the Dog Stars? Have you read the book? I have no clue what Dog Stars are. What's Dog Stars, man? You guys are just making up stuff now. Oh, the Dog Stars. God, that's a terrible title for a movie. Yeah, the generic post-apocalyptic movie that looks like 20 other post-apocalyptic movies tied into one movie. I'll show you guys what we're talking about. Survivors of a deadly pandemic traverse a post-apocalyptic landscape to find the origin of a mysterious radio transmission. Doesn't that just sound like every post-apocalyptic movie that's ever existed? Got Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein's ass in it. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Listen, I'll watch a post-apocalyptic movie. It's directed by Ridley Scott, and at one time that would have meant way more to me than it does now. But Ridley Scott's just crapping stuff out. After watching Gladiator 2, which is probably one of my most disappointing sequels of all time, it's just like I don't get excited for Ridley Scott movies anymore. I'm sorry, I just don't. I'll watch it. It looks like a fine little movie to watch. But I hope it's just not some generic post-apocalyptic movie. But hey, I do like the genre, so I'll take it. Are you guys looking forward to it? Let me know down below. Logo face, don't get Taco Bell, John. The lettuce is contaminated. I know. I talked about that earlier in the live show. I have not been eating fresh fruits or vegetables because they have parasites in them that can cause severe diarrhea. Yeah, that's a thing happening right now. Welcome to 2026. So I've been eating processed foods, and I've said it once, I'll say it again. Frozen pizza will save your life. And if anything, if you ever want to take some solid life advice, don't take my opinions on movies. Who cares about that? Frozen pizza, now and forever. Invest in it. Gladiator 2 was shit, man. I'm sorry, that movie's a piece of junk. That was garbage junk. That's the worst movie I've ever seen. Papa Chong says, if you want a great post-apocalyptic movie, watch Hell Comes to Frogtown. I've never seen it. The title sounds good. Or at least sounds mildly interesting. Ridley Scott is Robert Zemeckis 2.0 now. No, I still think Zemeckis is... I would have faith in a new Robert Zemeckis movie over a Ridley Scott movie. Alien Covenant was his last final nail in the coffin. I agree, man. His movies are just progressively getting worse. All right. All right, guys. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap up the live show right there. We've been talking 3 hours and 43 minutes. I do want to say thanks to everybody watching right now. If you want to, give the video a like if you were mildly entertained, or even if you weren't, please just give it a like anyway, because I'm pathetic and I need your accreditation. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, watched my first reaction out of the theater video on the Odyssey over on the Flickpick channel. It's 12 minutes long. I give some thoughts on it. I filmed it in front of the IMAX theater. I thought it was a pretty good reaction / review video, so check that out. But as always, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this Friday night. Thanks for the questions. And just thanks for being here. It does mean a lot. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with a brand new live show. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. And take care. See you guys. And hey, if you haven't watched the Odyssey yet, go see it. All right. Bye, guys. See ya.